2018 Prairie Football Conference season on ICU Video. Tonight in week 2, it's the Battle of Edmonton between the Edmonton Huskies and the Edmonton Wildcats. I'm Kevin Donnan with ICU Video, and we are very proud to once again bring you the action and excitement of Prairie Conference football in Edmonton, as we will bring you the 2018 seasons for both the Huskies and Wildcats. And tonight, I'm very pleased to be joined by Rob Harrod, former Edmonton Eskimo, and the current head coach of Millwoods Christian School. And we're only in week 2, but we've got a great game tonight and a great rivalry to start things off.
Well, a game like this early on in the season means so much for both teams, and I think when it's a rivalry game, you kind of forget about the past, you forget about the last time they met, and all the focus is on tonight because everybody's excited and a lot of fans are out to watch the game. And
some great expectations for both teams. Obviously, the Huskies fell short in the semifinal last year. The Wildcats, after a drought, got their first victory, and the Wildcats here tonight. Darcy Park has talked about his recruiting class. Definitely the things are trending upward for the Cats this year in 2018.
Well, we've seen a lot of young players on the Wildcats over the last couple of years, and every year those young guys get better and better. And as a head coach, that's what you continue to develop in those kids.
Both teams at captains at midfield. The Huskies will accept the opening kickoff. Glad you're aboard with us here on ICU Video's ProCast of the Prairie Football Conference. And what a night, what an atmosphere. Rob, there was a lineup at the ticket window outside of Clarke Stadium. Everybody is ready to go. We've got a great turnout tonight between both the Huskies and Wildcats supporters, and it's a great atmosphere tonight here at Clarke Stadium.
It is. The fans are still walking in, and again, excited for a good game of football between the two Edmonton teams. And when you look at these rosters, you see a lot of the players actually have played with team members from the other team. And you see them on the high school team. They've played all-star games together. They've played together for many, many years. So it's always exciting. I'm sure there's going to be emotions, and we'll see see which teams can keep those in check when things get tight.
And, of course, we want to offer our congratulations to the Edmonton Wildcats. And on this, we have the honor and privilege of calling the first game of their 70th anniversary season here in 2018. So I want to just congratulate everyone, the current staff and coaches, players, and, of course, the alumni of the Wildcats here in 2018 and this important anniversary. So congratulations to a first-class organization, and obviously we wish them nothing but success, as we do the Huskies. So this is going to be a great one, the Battle of Edmonton, and the new look Wildcats too, Rob. Of course, the Wildcats have gone with that Penn State look, and it's a great look. Of course, the dark blue, the Wildcats, and the Huskies in white.
I think white always looks fast, and so the white pants, the white helmets looking good. The coaches are looking good, and so ready for this season.
Rosario Camarada to kick things off, the left footer, and we are underway. Week 2, Battle of Edmonton. Kickoff is fielded at the 10, and at and a big play on special teams right away. Number 86, Jake Strakowitz, is upended on the play, and what a great start for the Wildcats on special teams, Rob. Let's take a look at this one. Just a great play to lead things off, and the Huskies will start 1st and 10 from their own 20, so about a 10-yard return there for number 86, Strakowitz. At quarterback, number 4, Tommy Yanchuk, operating out of the shotgun. And before our first offensive play, but big play on special teams, Rob.
Well, yeah, and again, special teams, big part of the game all the time. And it started off with a great kick, and the returner let the ball hit the ground, which, again, usually isn't a great idea. So he let that ball hit the ground, took him a little while to corral it, and by the time he got it, the cover team did a great job staying in their lanes, getting down there and corralling it and keeping them at the 20-yard line.
Here we go now, live action, Yanchuk now. Little play action and nearly picked off. That's number 11, Brady Kerr. Pass intended. Looks like number 87, Chris Edmonds, but little play action off the start, and it looked like that ball sailed on Yanchuk a little bit.
Yeah, kind of similar stuff that we see last year. See a little bit of backfield motion and then trying to move guys downfield into different spots. And again, that time the ball was a little bit high. He's going to have to get that down and get into his receiver's hands.
2nd and 10 from the 20, out of a little bit of the hurry up here for the Huskies. They slow things down. Here's Yanchuk now, going to swing things out to the near side. Receiver loses his footing, and a nice open field tackle at the 23-yard line. Swings. That's Yanchuk swinging it out to Connor Mcclain, number 2, the former McNally Tiger. Nearly lost his footing there. Good pursuit by the defense. That's number 97, Wyatt Schutz, the defensive lineman, and he's certainly a big part of that Wildcat defense.
Yeah, and I had a chance to talk to Donnie before the game, the defensive coordinator of the Wildcats, and they're really going to rely on their defensive secondary, making plays all over the field. And you could see early on, those guys are flying around, helping get some good field position, hopefully for the offense.
Cole Sabourin now is going to call the fake, and he's going to try and get to the first down, and does. Bit of a broken play. Sabourin tucks the ball under, makes a couple of moves, and Ian Mcclain may have a future tailback here. Watch this one, Rob. He wasn't sure what he was going to do. He thought, am I going to kick this, or do I have a shot at the first down?
I think he thought about kicking it. He then thought about throwing it, and then he said, I'm getting to the sticks. And you know what? What an athletic move by a little bit of a bigger kicker who can get the job done. But he made a very good defensive player miss in the backfield to keep the Huskies offense on the field.
Here we go. 1st and 10. Big 3rd down conversion there from the 32. 1st and 10. Here's Yanchuk now. Into the middle, pass complete to number 5, Harrison Cable. In on the tackle, Rob, Tony Savchuk, number 2. Yes. Pickup of about 9.
So much of this game is going to come down to momentum, and we've seen that in the past between these two teams. We'll see who can capture that momentum first.
Here we go with this no huddle now. Yanchuk hands off to Burzik, and is he driven back? Great play by the linebacker through the middle. And that's number 22, Brant Burzik, taken down on the play by Jaden Dowkey. And we talk about the game within the game. The matchup to watch is number 21 of the Wildcats against number 22, the running back, the tailback, Burzik of the Huskies. Back to live action here now. Here's Burzik. Shifty runner, low center of gravity, and he twists and turns for 8 yards out to midfield. And Burzik is awfully tough to tackle.
He is, and what we're seeing here is we're seeing tackles being made by the secondary, which is great for a secondary, and they have a very good secondary that has showed over the last couple of years that they can support the run really well. The problem with that is you want your linebackers making those plays. Because if the secondary is doing it, usually it's 5 to 8 yards downfield. So we want to see the linebackers of the Wildcats step up and make some of those tackles.
Here's the jet sweep around. Here's Mcclain, number 2. He's got open. He's going to get it, kick it out to the outside, but he's dragged down along the far sideline. You know who. We're going to be calling his name all night. That's number 21, Jaden Dowkey, and deservedly so. The number 3 ranked player in the nation, Rob.
Yeah, and he has shown that he's deserved that ranking for sure over the last couple of years. He plays well each and every night, and he's all over the field looking for the ball. Drive
continues now. 1st and 10. Here's Yanchuk. Good pocket. And just out of the hands of the receiver. That's number 80, Sam Clayton. So decent pressure or a good pocket for Yanchuk to throw in. A little bit of a low throw. But what are you seeing so far, Rob, in terms of this offensive series? Pretty efficient work here by the Huskies.
Well, other than the first 2 plays where they had some trouble getting the ball into the receiver's hands, there's a drop ball. So we had a high ball thrown, and we have another drop ball. So they're gaining some momentum. 2nd 10 is going to be tough to convert, and the Wildcats defense is going to need to step up here.
3 receivers right side. Here's Yanchuk going to roll right. Good block by Burzik. Yanchuk now going to look for the first down marker, but can't make it. Picks up about 7. Good tackle on the play by number 44. That's Ben Davidge. We'll be calling his name a lot tonight, too. He's a very, very agile linebacker for the Wildcats.
This puts Coach Ian Mcclain in a tough situation.
Check that. That's number 6, Noah Perkins, actually.
It is 2 yards. It's a good 2 yards, so it looks like he's bringing in his punt team and not willing to take the risk early on. And I think that's probably a good decision, seeing they almost got caught in their own end on their 3rd down, the first 3rd down of the game, where the punter had to make a couple guys miss. And we look for a exciting formation here from special teams.
And here it is. Here we go with a little bit of gadget work here by the Huskies, although they have lined up for a 42-yard field goal. Cole Sabourin, who had a fantastic afternoon against Calgary, and he's got the leg. It is up, and it is good. So Cole Sabourin, number 18, the hottest kicker in the Prairie Football Conference, connects from 42. And you know, last week he made 4 out of 5, and he had to kick 7 converts. So you know, Cole Sabourin was on the injury list this week for pure exhaustion.
Yeah.
But here he is again, and plenty of leg from 42. So great job by Cole Sabourin, and the Huskies have opened things up with 10:21 to go in the first quarter. 3-0 the Huskies lead here in the Battle of Edmonton. Now the Wildcats will take over 1st and 10 from their own 35. That's number 9, Justin Swedish at quarterback. Going to hand things off here to number 25. Good piece of running by Ramon English. Taken down on the play by O'Shane Samuels, one of the top defender in the Prairie Football Conference last week. And good pursuit by the Husky defense, but nice little gain there.
Yeah, and it's nice to see the Wildcats come out and try to establish the run, and we've talked about it in past years. And
defense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Illegal substitution, the call. We missed a flag there. It's early. It's early in the season for us too, but it's a 10-yard penalty, and it is an automatic. It is a first down for the Wildcats. They'll be 1st and 10 from their own 45. 10 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Glad you're along with us here on ICU Video. Kevin Donnan calling the action with Rob Harrod, as we bring you the 2018 season for the Wildcats and Huskies here on ICU Video. Minimal gain on the play for the ball carrier, taken down by number 33, Vince Schiffner, and there was no room to move there.
No, again, a couple linebackers really filling the holes, and we kind of talked about it on the other side of the ball, and that's what you want. You want your linebackers to fill the holes, shoot the gaps where those running backs are going, and make that tackle before they get into open space beyond the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 9, Wildcats. Swedish out of the shotgun. 4 receivers to the left side. Here we go. Little screen out to the left, and a big hit along the sideline, but good running by Lucas Howe, the receiver, off that screen. And Lucas takes a big hit here on the near sideline.
Early on, you can see the speed of this defense. And again, it's not just 1 or 2 DBs out there. It's 2, 3, 4 guys in pursuit of the ball before he even had a chance to get to the line of scrimmage. So great job by the Huskies defense. The Wildcats are going to have to try to get the ball downfield a little bit more.
And they're going to kick this ball away on 3rd and 8. That's number 13, Rosario Camarada, standing back at his 34. And that kick is blocked. Camarada, loose football. The Wildcats recover, but the Huskies will take over, and they have a big special teams play of their own, and it's O'Shane Samuels with the big block and a big play for the Huskies here halfway through the first quarter.
When we talk about special teams being such an important part, and now twice already in this game, we've seen huge plays by special teams, and unfortunately for the Wildcats, it's the Huskies special teams. First by the punter converting on a 3rd down, taking off and running, and there by the block team really coming hard. And I don't even know if it was a called block, but you could tell they were coming, and they were coming with speed, and they got to the punter.
1st and 10, Huskies. 3 receivers set near side. Here's Yanchuk going to roll right. He's going to try a little shovel pass to Burzik. Nice play up the middle, and he pinballs his way down to the 13-yard line. And a nice little shovel pass by Yanchuk to Burzik. And the Huskies with a first down here, down at the, let's say, the Wildcat 13-yard line. So a big play by Burzik, and Yanchuk has the Huskies knocking on the door. Here's a handoff to Burzik straight up the middle, and he nearly gets into the end zone. Taken down by Davidge, number 44, just short of the goal line.
And with a running back like that and an up-tempo offense, which the Huskies are doing, you know the defense is going to be tired.
Davidge with the tackle, the touchdown saving tackle. So Yanchuk right here. 1st and goal to go. Huskies from the 1. 7:40 to go here. Opening quarter. Yanchuk behind center. And looks like we need Wildcats look for some assistance. That is number 2, Tony Savchuk, shaken up on the play. A couple of Huskies also shaken up, or some personnel changes, but that is a Tony Savchuk gets a nice hand. One of the real keys of the defense for the Wildcats.
Yeah, we don't want to see him out very long on this defense, especially here down at the goal line. He's a guy, again, likes to get his nose in there, likes to help support on the run, and he's a guy you want there right now. Unfortunately, he's not going to be with the defense for this play.
First and goal to go. Yanchuk under center from the one. He's going to try and get over, and he does. Tommy Yanchuk with the quarterback keeper. And the Edmonton Huskies have the first touchdown of the ball game with 7:26 to go. And Yanchuk makes no mistake from 1 yard, just follows his blocks, gets behind the shoulder pads, and we have a 9-0 lead with the point after to come from Cole Sabourin. So big play coming off of special teams, Rob, and the Huskies do what you have to do, and that's make points off big turnovers like that.
Yeah, and you know what? That's where a veteran presence and the veteran team kind of shows their true colors. They're able to capitalize on those mistakes made by other teams. So we can dial this all the way back to the really the two and out by the Wildcats defense. That's what they needed to do. Special teams let them down by not making the tackle on the punter, and they had a couple guys there that could make that tackle, and they didn't. And then all of a sudden, you get a punt blocked, and all of a sudden things aren't going your way at all, and the Wildcats have a 10-point hole they're going to have to work out of now.
And of course, here at ICU Video, under normal operations around here, in my work, I'm typically on the sideline getting the sideline perspective and getting the latest news up to the booth. But as our regular viewers are probably, now wondering or realizing that something is missing, and that's our colleague Dave Rozak. And Dave isn't with us this evening as he is back home in Ottawa taking care of some some difficult family business, and we certainly want to wish Dave and the Rozak family our best wishes, thoughts, and prayers on behalf of the entire crew, our executive producer, Rob Zitlaw, everyone on the crew. Of course, you and I, Rob, we get the chance to work with Dave every week throughout the season, and we just want to wish him well. Here's the kickoff now, 10-0 Huskies. Here's the return. Wildcats need a big play. Here's number 8, Jake Withrow now, trying the wide side of the field. He'll cut forward. Nice little return by Withrow. Rob Harrod, nice little return taken down on the play by Nahomi Georgis, but Withrow with some good running.
Yeah, good little block
return.
set up in front, and you'll see that the special teams are going to be relied upon. And when you're a young team like the Wildcats, you need to execute in all three phases of the game. So, again, decent return, putting their offense in decent position to start this off.
Here's Justin Swedish, number 9, the quarterback, out of the shotgun. 2 steps. He's got it, and just nearly laid it into. That's number 81, Lucas Howe, right over the shoulder. Big hit to Justin Hadinsky coming over right at the end of the play, but number 81, Lucas Howe, nice ball by Swedish drop it in there, but Howe couldn't come up with the reception.
I hate ragging on receivers because that's where I lived most of my life, but
that's right.
You know what? You've got to help your quarterback out. You've got to be able to make those catches, knowing the hit's coming, and we tell our young receivers, you're going to get hit either way. Better catch the ball.
Here's Swedish now. Slant pattern across the middle to number 8. That's complete to Withrow. Taken down on the play by number 20, Dwight Francis. So that's a 2 and out for the Wildcats here. And it looked like Swedish was hit just as he threw, or Withrow had a little bit of room if there was a little more zip on the football, but Swedish under duress. So Camerata now, Wildcats want to get away this kick as they had a kick blocked. Beautiful kick by Camerata. Will be fielded at the 45 and a big tackle, but that'll be a likely no yards penalty. It's number 28, Lennox Murray.
Yeah, and those cover guys really have to locate that ball. And again, you can see here on the returner kind of waits a few yards back. So as he goes to make this catch, he steps forward about 3 yards, just enough to bring number 28 inside that halo.
15-yard penalty.
And it is the 15-yard variety because the ball was played in flight. If it takes a bounce, it's the 5-yard. No yards if it's in the air. If it's fielded in the air, it's 15. So that 15-yard penalty will mean the Edmonton Huskies will start on the Wildcat 50-yard line. 1st and 10. 10-0 lead. Just over 6 minutes to go, first quarter. Here's Yanchuk now. Good play action around the left side. And that ball is picked off. The Wildcats with a big turnover as Yanchuk tried to force the ball into a tight window and a big interception. We'll have to check our replay here, but watch Yanchuk, Rob, as he tries to fit that ball into a tight space, and it hits number 7, Chopper Hippie, right in the belly.
Yeah, the coaching staff is going to pull him aside and talk to him again. Just an outright bad decision. The receiver wasn't open really at any point in time, and you can see the DB just turned around as that ball arrived. Should have made a better choice on that one.
Tommy Yanchuk, second-year quarterback for the Huskies, and big pursuit by number 76, Colton Densmore, taking the ball carrier, number 25, Ramon English, behind the line of scrimmage, taken down about a 3 or 4 yard loss.
Well, and credit to the Wildcats trying to still establish that run, and we're going to get back to that throughout this game. They can't abandon it. They can't abandon it early, otherwise it's going to make life difficult on a quarterback.
Swedish now, 3 receivers far side now, out of the shotgun, looking far side now. Justin Swedish going to roll out, going to take the ball on his own, and he gets back to just past the original line of scrimmage, out to the 46-yard line. Not enough for the first down. As we mentioned, the Wildcats with the big turnover, and Yanchuk, the second-year quarterback, of course, he's now the full-time starter. Brad Lonhart moved on to the U of A, and Yanchuk with the early interception. And as we talked to Ian Mcclain, he mentioned that wants to limit those mistakes by the young quarterback. Third down now, Camerata, good kick. Fielded at the 34-yard line. And good pursuit on special teams by the Wildcats. Who else? Jaden Dahlke in on that tackle, along with number 23, Kiefer Moak. Return of maybe about 4 or 5 yards for number 86, Jake Strakowitz. So right now, what are your thoughts? If you're Darcy Park right now, head coach of the Wildcats, Rob, are you preaching patience? You said stick with the run. Now on defense, you've had a couple of good series too.
Yeah, you know what? They've got to know what they do and what they do well, and I think the defense is going to have to be relied upon. This is a big series here because they don't want to give up more points now to what could be a very dangerous offense. And so this defense is going to be relied upon. And when you have a veteran defense, and you can see on that play, again, rallying to the tackle, you want your linebackers making that. And we've got to lean on those linebackers to make those tackles and not let the DBs do it at 7, 8 yards downfield.
Bit of a RPO, a run-pass option right there. But with Yanchuk and Burzik does take the handoff, picks up about, I would say about 7 yards on that play. Flags on both sides of the field just after the ball was snapped. We'll get the call from our referee.
Offside, 87 on the Huskies. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Offside, the call against Chris Edmonds, the wide receiver, so that will back things up, and it will be 1st and 15 Huskies from their own 34-yard line. And this Wildcat defense is the strength of the team in 2018. Darcy Park very impressed with his defense early on and through training camp. 1st and 15 here. Here's Yanchuk now, backing up. Little screen now. That's number 21, Taylor Rempel, former U of A Golden Bear. And, of course, Ian Mcclain, the head coach of the Huskies, very excited to have Taylor Rempel, the former Golden Bear. And for Darcy Park, that's another guy you've got to watch out for in the Husky backfield.
Well, there's a number of dangerous players on the Huskies, and again, you can't key on any one of them. I mean, if there was one you were going to key on, I know which one it would be. You got to stop that running back, and again, I would force them to go to the air a little bit more.
Yanchuk now, 2nd and 14. He's going to air it out. He's got the big arm, and the pass is complete to number 5, Harrison Cable, right down the seam, and Tommy Yanchuk is known for that big arm. Good pocket, and the rifle from Lloydminster unleashes, but that completed pass is coming back, and that's a tough one. If a big break for the Wildcats here, Rob.
Well, just on cue, as I tell them to force them to go to the air, they get a wide open guy running down the seam, and I don't think that was the idea that I had in mind. You want to rely on that secondary to take those things away, but again, delivery was perfect. Great route combination, and again, getting the guy open the seam. Unfortunately, the penalty brought it back.
2nd and 25 now, or about 24 for the Huskies now. Got 4 receivers to this far side here. There we go, down the middle, and it's just off the hands of the intended receiver, Harrison Cable. He was in the neighborhood of Jaden Dalkey, so that holding penalty really took a great drive away for the Huskies, and that's a big break for Darcy Park and the Wildcats.
Well, it really is, because they had 2 second and longs back to back, and they actually almost converted both of them.
That's right.
And you know what? Your defense has really got to play better than that. They can't afford to do that. We saw that actually in the Eskimo game the other night.
That's right.
Had them pinned deep, long distances, and they converted on both, and in the end it cost them the game. So defense is going to have to clean up and make sure they have their coverage team set.
Cole Saberin now, the punt fielded by number 8, Jake Withrow. He's tiptoes out of bounds right in front of the Wildcat bench. There is a flag on the play just inside Husky territory at the 53-yard line. So glad you're along with us. 2:43 to go here on ICU Video. We'll get the call from our officials here. The Battle of Edmonton holding the call against the Wildcats on special teams here on the punt returns. We'll get the call from our referee.
Holding, number 28 on the Wildcats during the return. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That is number 28, Lennox Murray, the guilty party, so that will back things up. But as we mentioned, we're so happy to have you along with us. We're excited. It's the week 2 and our first presentation here on ICU Video, and no matter where you're dialing in from or tuning in from or procasting from, we're certainly so glad you're along with us. And just out of the hands of number 81, Lucas Howe, is that ball from Justin Swedish just out of his reach. But both quarterbacks tonight have shown they've got big league arms here out at Clarke Stadium tonight, Rob.
Well, we're going to see a lot of balls in the air, I think. And, you know, those are the types of things they've just got to convert on. It was so close. A really perfect ball. And you saw the defender kind of try to undercut that, and he had it just over the hands. So you couldn't ask anything more from your quarterback on the delivery of that one.
Motion near side here. 3 receivers left. Swedish now can't find a receiver, and he's going to try and get back to the original line of scrimmage. He's taken down by a trio of Huskies led by number 41, Jason Brown, the linebacker. And that will bring up 3rd and 10 for the Wildcats. So a bit of a seesaw battle. The Huskies came out last weekend, really, hung 66 points up on the Calgary Colts, but a bit of a seesaw battle here in this first quarter.
You know, other than a couple breaks that have gone the Huskies' way, that's given them the obviously great field position where they converted.
And the Wildcats try a gadget, the direct snap, and nothing doing. That was the direct snap to number 6, Noah Perkins, and he is stopped.
Well, and Darcy's taken risks early in this game, and again, you can't fault him for making the call. Often what happens is as a special teams coordinator, and I think Jared Winkle, I believe, is the special needs coordinator, you know, when you see something that you like on the cover team, often you're going to pre-design it. You're going to watch film. You're going to look for, okay, here's where we can take advantage. They obviously got the green light to make the call. Unfortunately, they didn't execute the play, and now the Huskies are in striking distance once again.
You bet. Huskies from the Wildcat 40 now. Hand off to Rempel, number 21. He'll pick up a couple there. Number 6, that's Noah Perkins in on the tackle. And that's number 21, Taylor Rempel, the former U of A Golden Bear who joined the Huskies in the offseason. He is gain of 4, 2nd and 6 here as we approach the final minute of a pretty entertaining first quarter here. Here's Yanchuk now. 2nd and 6 out of the shotgun. Motion to this near sideline, and it's a bit of a screen there. Number 5. That's Harrison Cable. Good tackle on the play by Jaden Dalkey, number 21. Also in on that tackle, number 27, Jordan Wilson. But Huskies seem to like that screen early on.
Yeah, another great defensive play by Dalkey to, limit the gain, force the field goal attempt here. And again, knowing when you can get inside the 40, you got a shot at points. That's a good situation to be in for the Huskies, and we'll see if they can convert on this field goal.
Ian Mcclain with a little bit of trickery off the snap here. Another 42-yard attempt. Here, low snap. Now here's Sabrin with the big leg, and it is up and good. That's a no-doubter all the way just about through the back of the end zone. So Cole Sabrin with the big leg for the Huskies. And, Ian Mcclain, like you say, all three phases, if you can hit him like that, that's, and you can get inside that 40-yard area and you can be automatic. That's not a bad thing.
Well, that kick would have gone through from the 50, and
I was going to say
that's a huge advantage for a team. Although, all that being said, you want your offense to do a little bit better when they get such great field position.
Absolutely. Here, Wildcats take over now. 1st and 10 following the field goal by Sabrin. Flag on the far side. Handoff straight up the middle by Swedish to number 25. That's Ramon English. And that will almost bring the first quarter to an end. We'll get the call from the official. Huskies lead this one 13-0. Glad you're with us on ICU video. Of course, we'll.
Offside, number 8 on the Wildcats. That penalty is declined, 2nd down.
Offside the call on the wide receiver, number 8, Jake Withrow. That'll bring things back. Spot the ball at the 36-yard line, and this, barring penalties, will be the final play of the opening quarter. Swedish now, 3 receivers right side out of the shotgun. And he'll look near side and dump it across the middle, and number 88, Zack Burgess, he'd love to have that one back.
Yeah, we've talked about it already tonight. Again, great ball delivery out in front of the receiver is just simply dropped. And, he catches that. He's got running room, and he's going to convert the first down and more. But again, a young team, nervous against probably a heavily favored Huskies team. They've got to do a better job in converting those.
And that brings the first quarter to an end. The Edmonton Huskies lead 13-0 over the Edmonton Wildcats. Of course, ICU Video proud to bring you Edmonton Wildcats and Edmonton Huskies football. Of course, the Wildcats tonight in the home blues, the Huskies in the visiting whites. But it is the Battle of Edmonton here in week 2 of the Prairie Football Conference season. And let's do a little business. Let's talk sponsors here. The Wildcats would like to thank Madson's Custom Cabinets, Tanner Young Publishing Group, Regent Supply, JC Boiler Service Limited, McElhaney Consulting, and of course, the Edmonton Eskimos. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the tremendous sponsors of Edmonton Wildcats football, and of course the Wildcats would like to thank all of their corporate partners for their support here in 2018. And obviously the Wildcats are looking forward to a successful 2018 season, and they certainly wish to thank and appreciate their corporate support. So as we enter the second quarter, Rob, what are your thoughts now as, what's your feel in terms of the Wildcats here early in week 2? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think you're gonna hear the coach preach execution. Again, they've had opportunities to make plays. We've seen some plays downfield where the offense isn't converting, and we've obviously seen plays on special teams where they're not converting. And so, right now the better team is the Huskies. Why? Because when the big plays are there to be made, they're making the plays, not the Wildcats. And so that's something that you've got to talk to the kids about. They're there. They're ready. The plays are there to be made. They've got to get the job done, and they've got to help out their quarterback. They've got to help out their team. But when their number is called, they're going to be ready to make that play.
Rosario Camarada is ready to kick this ball away here on 3rd and 8. We're just waiting for the clock to wind down as we get to the second quarter. Once again, glad you're along with us. ICU Video's ProCast coverage of Prairie Football Conference action here in 2018 from Clarke Stadium. Of course, the weather tonight, no wind. It is hazy once again in Edmonton. That has been a concern for about the last 2 weeks. Of course, Rob, you were talking how, so there's some minor football programs, your own program. It's tough. This smoke is very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, it is, and it's tough on the athletes. The younger they are, the harder it's going to be.
And another block on special teams, but the loose football is picked up by number 6, Noah Perkins. Camarada is shaken up back at the 25. There's a flag down at the 25, but here, once again, Camarada punt blocked by number 10, Justin Hudinsky, but Camarada had trouble handling the snap. actually not too badly, and then when he tried to get that one away, but once again, another breakdown on special teams and a tough one for Camerata, who looks to be okay.
And I think they may have to pick up this flag because it was a blocked punt. I'm not sure.
Holding, number 46 on the Wildcats. That penalty is declined. It'll be first down.
So that holding call against Esteban Velasco, number 46, the linebacker. So the Wildcats guilty of holding. That penalty's declined. The Huskies will take over 1st and 10 from the Wildcat 38. So this is not the kind of field position you want to give Tommy Yanchuk.
No, and first of all, if you're going to hold a guy, hold a guy. Don't let him go, because I think the guy that got called for holding
That's right.
is still the guy who blocked the punt. So they've got to get, if you're going to hold him, hold him. If you know your beat, now they're really in a tough position.
Sounding like a true coach right there, absolutely. Here's Yanchuk now. Play action, going to roll right, but he's going to take off with it now. Yanchuk, the big quarterback now, and he taken out along the far sideline. Good pursuit by number 27, Jordan Wilson. But for a big guy, Tommy Yanchuk has got some wheels.
Well, and he did a great job. You can see here on the replay, he's rolling out. His eyes are downfield, so they can't totally commit to come up and support the run. And so, again, great job by the quarterback. Eyes downfield, balls in a great position. You call it chinning the ball. He's got the ball up, ready to deliver. He knows he's got the space to run, takes off, and then he takes a hit here at the end, which the quarterback coach is not going to be too happy about, but excited that your quarterback is really trying to play hard and win the game.
1st and 10, 26-yard line. Now here's Yanchuk going to go play action. Now he's going to go up top into the end zone and a battle for the football. And the pass falls incomplete. Good defense on the play. Ty Smith, the corner, up against number 87, Chris Edmonds. And nice defense by Ty Smith.
You know, great coverage, and you can see in the replay he didn't go. It was a little bit of an out and up, so the receiver turns to the out, then goes down the sidelines, and the DB had nothing to do with the out. Probably could have completed that for an easy first down, but he wheeled it upfield, which is probably what it was designed for. But great coverage, way to be right in the face of the receiver, making him make a real difficult catch, which he wasn't able to do. 2nd
and 10, motion left. Now Yanchuk under a little bit of pressure now, going to try and get out of the pocket, and he will. Down in, he's looking for the first down. He's going to be very, very close. It looks like he went for the hook slide, but I think he's short, Rob.
Well, yeah, and when a quarterback hook slides, where he starts to hook slide, that's where they're going to start to mark the ball. Because, again, you're eliminating taking a hit, and so it's not where he actually ends up landing kind of on the ground. It's where he kind of initiates that hook slide. And so you can see there he may end up coming up a little bit short.
Ball is spotted right at about the 17. So, yeah, they are short by, well, a little less, well, about half a yard. And, of course, the players are all yelling, let's go, and I think that's exactly what Ian Mcclain will do here early in the second quarter. 13:34 to go. ICU Videos Procast of the Battle of Edmonton here in the Prairie Football Conference. Referees are going to spot that ball right between the 16 and 17-yard line, so it's about 3rd and about half a yard, we'd say.
Yeah, no doubt they're going to go for it. I think if I was in Ian's head right now, the coach of the Huskies, I would be actually a little bit frustrated that we haven't scored more points based on where they're getting the ball in the field position. And so there's no doubt he's going to try to convert this into a touchdown, starting with first down here.
And Yanchuk with that big body, number 4, falls forward, and he looks like will have an easy first down here with 13 minutes to go in the second quarter. Edmonton Huskies lead 13-0. And yes, the Huskies do convert, and Tommy Yanchuk with that tall frame, and he gets the ball down to the 15 and a half, so he got just enough on 3rd down. 1st and 10, Huskies here. Yanchuk out of the shotgun, going to hand things off. Burzik now straight up the middle. Taken down at the 10-yard line. That's number 91, Dylan Lanigan. Burzik slow to get up.
And you're seeing great patience by a running back. He kind of just hides in behind the lineman. He's not a big back, but he's just really patient. And when you see he's waiting and then you see that quick burst, he just gets through the hole and gets through in a hurry.
Pickup of 5 for Burzik. 2nd and 5, Huskies at the Wildcat 10. Ben Davidge also in on that tackle. Huskies operating about 90% out of the shotgun here with Janchuk and Burzuk in the background. And last year, one of the concerns for the Huskies was the wear and tear on Burzuk late in the season, and I think that's why Ian Mcclain was so happy to welcome Taylor Rempel to the Husky fold in the offseason. So,
yeah, and it's a luxury in this league to have two backs that you can rotate through the backfield.
Absolutely. Here we go now. Janchuk now, a little RPO. He does a great job of selling it because that is number 80, Sam Clayton. Nice movement of the football. Really good. Great job by Janchuk, but also good pursuit by the Wildcat defense. And it is first and goal to go, so it is a first down, but good pursuit by the Wildcat defense, but they're up against it here from the 3. Out of the shotgun now. Here's Burzuk, and Burzuk into the end zone for the Husky touchdown. That's Burzuk's 3rd touchdown of the season. He goes in from 3 yards out, and Burzuk is very difficult along the goal line.
Well, you just can't track him, and then when you do track him, you got to be able to catch him, and he's too fast for a lot of these guys to catch, and he's so quick. He's got great vision, and again, the big reason why the Huskies are going to lean on him. But again, we talked about it moments ago, you know, having Rempel there to take some of the reps. You know what? You can't do it all year long. You got to protect those players. You got to keep them all healthy, and that's why you have the rosters you have, and that's why you have the depth chart. You want to find that second guy that can fill in, take away some of those reps, especially when games like last week we saw the Huskies, it got out of hand early. And again, you don't want to waste those time. You want to work on chemistry in your offense, and you want to keep your starters out there. But at the same time, at what cost do you do that throughout the game?
And as we talked about, one of the things last year with the Huskies, of course, they lost in the PFC semifinal, that heartbreaker 24-21 to Saskatoon. But the one thing that you have to remember, and like you say, that's the thing about Rempel, is the nice addition for the Huskies is that they want to keep Burzuk fresh, and they can, and like you say, you got a little bit of that thunder and lightning. But for the Edmonton Wildcats, they're down 20-0 here, 11:30 to go in the second quarter. It hasn't been, you know what, the score isn't 100% indicative. Unfortunately, for the Wildcats, they've been giving up a lot of tough field position on a couple of, tough special teams plays. But there are some positives for Darcy Park here out here tonight.
You know what? The young guys are learning, and again, you don't want to learn too much. You want to execute, and so they're going to have to execute. They've had opportunities. Now that he's just got to say the plays are there to be made. Now they just got to make the plays. Here's
Withrow now, taken out of bounds at the 27-yard line. That's number 30. Morgan Runge, the fullback, chasing Withrow out of bounds. 25-yard return on the play. Nice return by Withrow, number 8. He's one of the main cogs of the receiving core for the Wildcats, and Justin Swedish, number 9, will start this series at his own 30-yard line. 11 minutes to go, second quarter. Clarke Stadium, the ICU video procast. Swedish now, and the D-back nearly jumps the route. Pass intended for number 5, Leighton Barasenkov. Number 20, Dwight Francis, nearly jumped that route.
Well, it was a good little hitch route, 5 yards. The ball was delivered a little bit high, but again, great first step. And you watch the DBs, and as you backpedal, if you see that ball come out, you plant your feet into the ground and you come down. He came down hard. If the ball was lower, he may have had an interception.
Swedish out of the shotgun now, hands off to English, Ramon English, and he's going to be very close to the first down. So that's a big offensive play for an offensive unit looking for some positives. And it is a big Wildcats first down. So good bit of running there by number 25, Ramon English. And that is a big play for the Wildcats. It may be a simple play, but it's a big positive play for this offense.
And it starts with a first down, and that's exactly what they got. And again, English is going to continue to get a little bit of a workload here. And again, but that's what they've expected of him. They've had a couple of handoffs. He's really been caught, but again, that was a demonstration of the speed he brings to this offense.
Here's Swedish now, out of the gun, looks, fires down the middle, and just out of overthrown the receiver. That's number 88, Zack Burgess. just overthrew him a little bit, but nice touch on the football by Swedish, just a little too much, but a good pocket for the Wildcat quarterback.
Yeah, and again, you can see the Huskies secondary is pretty soft, eliminating that long play, and really they had the best chance at that ball, and so he's got to do a little bit better job. If he sees that soft coverage, you're going to want to deliver it a little bit quicker on a line before he gets to the secondary that deep.
Swedish out of the shotgun, 2nd and 10 from the 41. He'll throw far side, and the receiver is bottled up. No yardage on that play. There is a flag on the near side. Pass was complete to number 88, Zack Burgess, but we're going to take a look at what happened on this near sideline as the Wildcat receiver and the Husky defensive back were exchanging pleasantries here on the near sideline. It'll be interesting to see.
I think this is going to go. I think this is going to go in the favor of the Wildcats. I think the DB from the Huskies was just a little too emotional and played a little bit beyond the whistle.
10-yard penalty. First down.
So that's a big penalty for the Wildcats as they continue this drive. So an undisciplined penalty by the Huskies as the Wildcats now 1st and 10 inside Husky territory, and you'll take the yards any way you can get them right now.
You definitely will, and interesting enough, they pulled the DB off and Ian gave it to him on the sideline. Undisciplined penalties on either side of the ball is not going to be welcomed by the head coach.
Nice downhill running by number 25, Ramon English, taken down on the play by number 34, Matt Lauren. But this is just nice, a nice dive play. Ramon English right behind his pads. Another flag on the play, but there's English getting right behind his shoulder pads, and nice dive play right there.
Holding. Wildcats number 55.
And that'll put another gray hair in Darcy Park's hairline. I'll tell you, when you can get even a nice, well-executed 5-6 yard dive play comes back on a hold, Darcy Park's going to be talking about that at halftime.
Yeah, both coaches aren't going to be happy with some of the penalties that they're seeing here in the first half.
Here's Swedish now, good pocket out of the shotgun, going up top, and it is nearly caught. Pass intended for number 4, Jacob Mihalaitis. Coverage along that far sideline. Number 34 in on the coverage. That's Matt. Check that, number 15, Brandon Mellon, in on the coverage. But Swedish taking a shot here on 2nd and 20. Or taking a shot on 1st and 20. Now 2nd and 20, Justin Swedish out of the shotgun. 4 receivers to the right side, the wide side. And there's English going to now, nice move at the line of scrimmage. He's got the sideline, and he has got a Wildcats first down. So that commitment to the run on 2nd and long, and a big play by Ramon English, Rob.
Yeah, you know, and you can see the speed they're excited about in this young running back. And again, just motoring, makes his initial cut, then accelerates. And so you want to find a way to get him the ball in space where he can accelerate a little bit, because then he can outrun some of the defenders. And he did it just exceptionally well on that play.
1st and 10, Wildcats, Swedish out of the shotgun. Motion left side, 3 receivers right side. Pass complete now, English in space down to the 34-yard line. So they're going to find a way to get the ball into Ramon English, into his hands, the playmaker. Good patience, good pocket, good throw by Swedish, and a nice little play by English there, number 25, Rob.
You know what, as a quarterback, you kind of get comfortable with different people on your offense. And again, we've seen a couple drop balls, we've seen a couple opportunities that were missed, and so you see the quarterback, he's trying to get comfortable with somebody, and you know that seems to be where it is. And now we've got a flag. I think it's not going to put the Wildcats in a better field position. But again, some momentum gain. You got to be happy with what's going on. You know, they've got to continue to.
In the huddle on the Wildcats.
Illegal substitution, the call here against the Wildcats, and that's, you talk about undisciplined penalties, that's one of those ones that'll kill you as well. You're a head coach, and that's one of those ones that, you know, I can tell looking at you right now, you're thinking, oh boy, those are the ones that kill you. So back that up 10 yards, and you go from 2nd and 2 to 2nd and 12, and these are the opportunities you got to take advantage of. 3 receivers left side now, Swedish. Play action, and there's a loose football on the play, and the Wildcats do not turn the ball over. Swedish recovers the fumble. The ball was on the turf for a while there. Big number 67, Austin Little, trying to help his quarterback out, but tough one there in terms of the execution there, where there was a little bit of miscommunication in the background, and that'll bring up 3rd and about 14. That was about a 3-yard loss, so 3rd and 15. So this drive comes to a halt, this Wildcat drive, and Camerata going to kick things away back deep for the Huskies. Jaden Lorimer and number 86, Jake Strakowitz, who will handle this return, and a big hit right at the 24-yard line. And the Wildcats, don't tell anyone on this near sideline that they're out of this football game. There's some big hits going on special teams in all 3 phases, but a big hit there by number 53 of the Wildcats, DJ DeSuter. Big special teams play there with just under 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, this cover team by the Wildcats definitely are coming downfield with a lot of speed and a lot of angst to find the ball and find the ball carrier.
And now at quarterback, Brendan Guy now for the Huskies, as Tommy Yanchuk not in at quarterback. Number 13, Brendan Guy, as we mentioned. So where's that sideline guy anyway? Can we find him and get him over on the far side to find out where Yanchuk is? Where is that guy?
I'm not sure whether he's out because he needs to be out, or it's just an opportunity. And often, a lot of times you'll see that, get a young quarterback in just to get a series in, just to get some reps.
Here's Brendan Guy now. Nice little play action out to the fullback. Morgan Runge, big Morgan Runge, number 30, and he lowers the shoulder, and he takes on Jaden Dalkey. And not too many guys can lower the shoulder against Dalkey and move him back, but Morgan Runge running downhill after that completed pass. So a big play for Brendan Guy as he comes in on this series at quarterback, and a big play by the fullback. And as you mentioned, Rob, up-tempo offense by the Huskies. Guy now out of the shotgun, going to call his own number a little bit, forced out of the pocket and taken down in the open field. Nice tackle, number 44, Ben Davidge. And I've been impressed by Davidge's ability to tackle in the open field.
Yeah, and they rallied really well to the ball carrier, and that's what they need. That's what they need out of their linebackers. They need to make those tackles and take some of that pressure off the secondary to not only cover, but then to step up and make the plays on the run plays. So great job by the linebacking core doing their responsibility and limiting the gain to 1 yard.
As we mentioned, this Wildcats team in 2018, the real strength is going to be this defense. So out of the shotgun now, Guy, number 13 at quarterback. Little screen over the middle to Burzik, but nothing doing. Number 45, good read by Riley Thompson, number 45, the linebacker for the Wildcats. Good read.
Yeah, and he's doing a good job. And again, that's a very dangerous back that you want to keep an eye on. And they did a good job of getting in there, shutting off some blocks and making the tackle. Again, I think it's close enough that Coach Mcclain likely will go for this. But again, the defense is not giving it up early, and so they're going to have to continue to work.
Say it's both 3rd and, well, we'll say 2.5, really. The Huskies need to get to the Wildcat 48-yard line. The ball is just around the 50-yard line, so let's call it 3rd and 2, and Ian Mcclain is going to go for it. As we mentioned, number 13, Brendan Guy now under center. Tommy Yanchuk out with a breather, and this is the same approach we saw last season with Lonhart and Yanchuk, with Ian Mcclain not afraid to play both quarterbacks. And there's a big play on defense, and who else? Number 21, Jaden Dalkey, the MVP, certainly the preseason MVP of this team, and what a nose for the football. No wonder he is ranked as the number 3 overall player in the nation. And like you say, you can't teach that kind of nose for the football, can you, Rob?
No, you can't, and this is right straight down in front of our booth, and I think the Wildcats defense made the stop. I think the Huskies actually got a good spot considering where the tackle was made, but I still don't think they're going to get it.
And they do not have the football, so a big play by their big play MVP, Jaden Dalkey. The turnover on downs with 4:46 to go here in the second quarter. And as we mentioned, Wildcats are down 20, but there's still a lot of positives for the Wildcats in this quarter and in this football game, Rob.
Hey, there's a lot of football left in this year to be played, and there's a lot of football left in this football game. And you know what? Talking to Donnie earlier in the game, again, the defensive coordinator of the Wildcats, they want to get more turnovers than they did last week, and they had 2 last week. So
here's Swedish now. Good pocket. Out of the shotgun, across the middle. Nice pass, nice completion to number 23, Kiefer Moak, out of the backfield, and a nice completion and a nice little drag route across the middle there a little bit by Moak, number 23, and he does the rest. Chased out of bounds by the Husky defender. Big 1st and 10 right at the 39-yard line of the Huskies. Big play by the Wildcats. Just over 4 minutes to go. Here's English, number 25, taken down by number 34, Matthew Lawrence. So a good shift by the Huskies defensive line here to corral English, who has been running very, very well here in this second quarter.
Well, and they're going to stick with it. And the Wildcats are going to continue because they know the damage he can do. And we've seen a little bit of glimpse of that earlier tonight. So, again, you're going to see that dose of running mixed in with the pass.
Here's Swedish now. Out of the shotgun, there is that pass across the middle to Moak, number 23, completed. Tackled on the play by Vincent Schiffner, number 33. But Moak with a lot of speed across the middle, good concentration, good throw, good catch.
And we've talked about linebacker play on both sides of the ball. And again, Vince is a linebacker for the Huskies, moving well in space, staying close to the receiver, limiting the gain just short of the first down. And now the challenge is on the offense to convert this third and about 1.5 yards.
Yeah, about 1.5 yards right here at the 30-yard line. Here's Swedish out of the shotgun now. Steps up in the pocket. He's got English, and he catches that football, and it is a Wildcats first down. So some anxious seconds there for Ramon English, but good concentration with the defender closing in on him, and a big first down.
Again, that ball took a long time to get there, and he did a good job of keeping his focus, obviously running the route at the right depth where the completion gives them the first down. So again, some momentum for the Wildcats. Let's see if they can continue this drive.
An offense that certainly wants to get going. There are some winnable football games coming up on the schedule for the Wildcats, and if they can get the offense going, Winnipeg Rifles last week, I mean, they certainly, Winnipeg Rifles are a top 10 team in the Canadian Junior Football League, and the Wildcats stayed right with them. Here's English now. Handoff straight up the middle, and he just loses his footing. Tripped up. There are flags on the play. But as we, last week, the Wildcats definitely hung right in with the Rifles, and there it is there as English is just tripped up. Flags on the play. We'll get the call from our referee.
Offside, Wildcats, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Still first down, so that'll bring up 1st and 15. And I want to mention to our viewers here on our ICU video procast, we will speak with Darcy Park right at the end of the half. And coming up at halftime, Megan Tanner, the GM of the Edmonton Wildcats, will be my special guest. So all Wildcats all the time, of course, right here on the ICU video procast. Up top now, deep into the end zone, and that's intended for number 15, Alex Fox. He had a step on the defender, but I don't think he would have brought that one in. It was just out of bounds, but good speed by Alex Fox down the sideline here, and a good ball by Swedish, but just a little too much on it.
Yeah, just again, you want to give your receivers an opportunity to catch that ball. And again, Swedish is going to learn. He's going to learn how to place that ball just on that sideline because, again, he puts it on the sideline, probably there for a touchdown.
Put it in the and there's a loose football as the timing on that snap, but he had it over the correct shoulder on that outside shoulder, just couldn't drag it in there, and the miscommunication there. That's number 81, Lucas Howe, is that ball sort of
I think that hit him right in the leg. I don't think it was designed to go to him, but great job, great awareness of the ball. Hit him in the leg, bounces forward. Wildcats get the bounce, so at least they have the opportunity here to get some points on the board before we go into the half.
Absolutely, and here is number 13, Rosario Camarada. The lefty here, going to attempt the 37-yard field goal here with 2:20 to go, and the kick is up and good. Camarada from 37 yards is up and good, and the Edmonton Wildcats are on the board with their first points here in the Battle of Edmonton, and perfect technique by Camerata as he puts the ball between the uprights and the Wildcats are on the board. The score, the Edmonton Huskies 20, the Edmonton Wildcats 3. So definitely, as we keep talking, you know what? Positives on that last drive.
Yeah, definitely something to build on. Started off with the defense making a third down stop, which was great, and then the Wildcats offense with some tough down and distances being able to execute on some of those plays. So great job by the Wildcats to kind of gain some of the momentum back, or at least stall the momentum by the Huskies. Now the onus is back onto the offense of the Huskies, obviously, in the defense to not bend anymore before the half.
Timeout called by the Huskies. Tommy Yanchuk back in at quarterback for the Huskies, number 4. Of course, the want to mention the home Wildcats are in the dark blue. They look very Penn State, and it is a fantastic look. It's very clean, very sleek, and everything. And we'll talk to Megan about that. And a real interesting backstory about the new look is the new logo for the Edmonton Wildcats was designed by a player. It was designed by Tony Savchuk, number 2. He brought the logo design to the team. The team loved it, and Tony Savchuk is, not only the kind of guy who can put his shoulder into your rib cage, he can also design a logo. So multi-talented here on the Wildcats, and congratulations to Tony Savchuk, and congratulations to Megan Tanner and the entire organization on this new look. It's a retro look, but it's classic and it looks great, Rob.
It definitely does, and you're trying to infuse
look
some
good, play good.
Yeah, you want to infuse energy into an organization, and that's exactly it. Let's get them looking good, and let's see if we can put together a great season.
Here's Yanchuk now with a pretty good-looking pocket. Pass complete on the slant pattern to number 5. That's Harrison Cable. And it is a first down right at the 45-yard line. So the Huskies on this no-huddle offense, they came right out of the gate with this. And they've stuck to it for the most part. Backed away a little bit early in the second quarter. And now here's Burzik with the handoff. Check that. That's Taylor Rempel, number 21, the ex-U of A Golden Bear. Tackle on the play by number 97, Wyatt Schutz, who's in a battle in the trenches there. There is a Husky player shaken up on the play with 2:05 to go in the second quarter. That is number 67, TJ Sloboda. He's going to try and put some weight on that leg. He's going to stop it. He is tapping that right leg and is going to take a seat here. We'll try and see what happens if he gets, oh yeah, there it is right there. And you hate to see that. You as a coach, you see that every once in a while where that offensive lineman trying to make the block gets rolled up on, and you hate to see that.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. You could see it there on the replay, and unfortunately he, wrong place at the wrong time. Doing a good job getting his block, had no idea it was coming, and they just rolled up right behind him.
Nice hand for number 67, TJ Sloboda of the Huskies, who is going to walk that one off, and looks like he'll be back, but he's just going to shake that one off. And certainly as we get that great shot from our crew here on the ICU video procast, of course, want to throw a shout out to all of the medical and training staffs with both the Huskies and Wildcats, and they do such a wonderful job. A lot of them are students, really hard work and dedication on both sides, on both sidelines. So a bit of a tip of the cap to the medical and training staffs of both organizations here in the Battle of Edmonton. Yanchuk now with that big arm, and it's nearly picked off. Number 2, Tony Savchuk. And boy, would he love to take another shot at that pass. Yanchuk again trying to fit that ball into a tight window. And the Wildcats with another near turnover right there.
Opportunities, right? Opportunities, and they've had lots of them. And again, great job by the defense of not giving up and actually getting the ball back with a couple minutes left, see if their offense can do something. But again, opportunities, they've got to take advantage of those. They've got to be able to secure the ball, whether it's on defense, offense, and create some excitement and some opportunities for their team.
Here's Cole Sabra now with the angle punt that will just roll out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Well, the 30.5 where the Wildcats will take over on offense. Number 8, Jake Withrow, lets that ball travel out of bounds. So glad you're along with us. As we mentioned right at the end of the half, head coach Darcy Park of the Edmonton Wildcats will join Rob and myself for a little bit of an interview and get his thoughts on this first half. And at halftime, we'll be talking with Megan Tanner, the general manager of the Wildcats. So make sure you stay with us during our halftime show here on the ICU Video Procast. Swedish now, good pocket, thrown across the middle to Moak, and he's got a first down, 50, and does he make a great play, the hurdle right at midfield. And if you want to fire up the bench, make a big play, number 23, Justin Moak, looks like Edwin Moses on the high hurdles. Flag on the play in the backfield, but and that's going to come back as a hold. But there you go with Moak with the big hurdle, but the holding penalty, and that's a killer right there, right at the end of the half.
It really is. You know, opportunity again. They were able to get some points on their board. Their defense was able to stop the Huskies' offense, and then you come out and make a great play, and you negate it by taking a penalty, unfortunately. I mean, it's going to happen, but unfortunately the timing of it is just killing the Wildcats.
Absolutely. 1st and 20 now following the 10-yard penalty. Here's Swedish now. Pressure. He's going to escape that pressure out of the pocket. Going to elude one tackler, try two more, make it 3 or 4. And Swedish makes something out of nothing as number 33, Vincent Schiffner of the Huskies, finally takes down Swedish, but Swedish with some pretty good elusiveness in the pocket.
Vince Schiffner had his first chance at it, but he stayed with it and ended up coming back. And again, Swedish has got to know he's going to run out of time, and there's a lot of defenders running around. So again, great pursuit by the defense. Young quarterback's got to know, okay, you made one guy miss, find someone downfield, get rid of the ball, because there's a lot of guys around you.
Someone's catching up to you. Here we go, 2-yard gain on the play. Nice handoff by Ramon English, but he is taken down. Nearly gets back to the original line of scrimmage, but he's taken down on the play by a host of Huskies, including number 27, Brett Vander Korpet. So that'll bring up 3rd and about 14. The Wildcats will need to kick this one away with 1:03 to go. Huskies up 20-3. Kevin Donnan on the ICU Video Procast along with Rob Harrod. Of course, ICU Video, a specialist in covering amateur sports. You name it, we cover it. Football, Prairie Football Conference, we cover high school football, basketball, you name it, we got it. And there's Camerata with the near block and a beautiful kick. High spiraling kick fielded at the 51 of the Huskies, and good downfield coverage by the Wildcats special teams unit. And I'll tell you, that's one phase where Darcy Park can say, I mean, certainly he's had a couple of punts blocked. He won't be happy about that. But in terms of coverage, the kicking game, he's got to be very happy with.
They continue to do a great job getting downfield, limiting the gains for the Huskies. And, you know, that plays big into their special teams or the field position that the offense or the defense is playing from. And so great job. Hats off to, I think it was number 12 on the special teams tackle, getting down there, making a great play.
Colton McNeil with the tackle. 1st and 10 from the 51 of the Huskies. 43 seconds to go. Yanchuk out of the shotgun. Gonna fire now, and on the slant pattern, complete down to the 45-yard line. That's number 87, Chris Edmonds. For 21, Jaden Dalkey. Who else for the Wildcats in on that one? But a good pocket and a good throw. But once again, Yanchuk, that ball sailing on him a little bit tonight.
Yeah, still a little bit high. Fortunately, he's got a receiver with a huge catch radius that was able to corral that, get the first down.
Yanchuk with that cannon for an arm. The bazooka from Lloydminster. He'll swing it out to Rempel. And what a nice open field tackle. Number 27, Jordan Wilson. And that's just a great individual play.
You know, and again, he had to shed a block first. You can kind of see him pop into the screen after he breaks the block. And you know what? That's what you need your defense to do. And that's what the Wildcats are relying on, is your defense continuing to make plays.
Huskies try to get Rempel out in space, but great play by Wilson. And there was a flag on the play, so that'll bring things back 10 yards. And it'll bring things all the way back into, well, right to midfield, actually, right to the center field stripe. So that'll be 1st and 20. Huskies will need to get to the Wildcat 35, 26 seconds to go. Huskies up by 17 here on the ICU Video Procast. Glad you're along with us. Yanchuk now out of the shotgun. Play action, and does he take a shot? It's picked off by the Wildcats. There is a flag on the play. Number 11, Brady Kerr, steps in front of that pass. But it'll be interesting to see what this call will be. Yanchuk just gets the pass away, but the blitz on the outside, we'll have to get that number because the Wildcat defender was coming in with.
Unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer, number 45.
Oh, number 45, Riley Thompson gets called with roughing the passer. And let's see this. Tommy Yanchuk he was in the process of throwing the football, so that's a pretty controversial call here, and the Wildcats faithful are not happy about that one. 1st and 10 on the 40 with 18 seconds to go. Controversial call, Rob.
No doubt, and I think the only way you could call that is if he's actually got him in the helmet, and it was hard to see on that replay if he did, but he definitely hit the arm, and that's exactly what you want.
If he made contact with the helmet, but if that penalty matters no more as the Huskies strike. Tanner Buchanan, number 6, as Yanchuk goes up top. Beautiful throw by Yanchuk from the 40-yard touchdown, no mistake. In fact, number 6, Buchanan had to wait for it a little bit, but a great throw by Yanchuk. And they convert after the end. Like you say, maybe there was contact with the helmet. We don't know. Or if it was, hands to the face on the quarterback, that's an automatic 15 no matter what. So we'll have to take a look at that replay maybe at the half. But the Huskies strike, and they've got a quick strike offense when they need to get to it.
Yeah, and they do, and that's what great teams do, is they take advantage of opportunities. Right or wrong, they take advantage. And again, we're going to put some of the onus on that secondary here. And if you watch the secondary here, you can see the free safety, who's not on the screen right now, really isn't getting his depth, and then he ends up becoming in the trail position. That happens to be Jaden Dahlke. Again, great player, great athlete. He's got to remember the arm strength of the Huskies. Both quarterbacks
absolutely
can get the ball downfield, and if he throws it to the right spot, which he did there, he hit him in stride, and he didn't have a chance. And so, when you're a halfback, which is for terminology-wise, the halfback is typically the defensive back that is guarding the second receiver in from the sideline. So you have your corners, and then you have your halfbacks, and then typically in the middle of the field you have your free safety. So often as a halfback, you're going to funnel your receivers to the middle of the field to give your free safety an opportunity to help take away that long ball. And again, inside release by the receiver, he actually pushed his way back outside far enough from the free safety who didn't have his depth, and then was able to convert and secure the catch for the touchdown.
And when you give Yanchuk that much time, he is positively lethal. Kickoff now fielded at the 10-yard line. That's Withrow. Down to the, let's call it the 29-yard line. Nice little return, 19 yards for Withrow. Final 5 seconds of this second quarter. And Rob, your thoughts on, we'll get into more depth in just a few moments. We'll give you a chance to talk to Darcy, but overall, your thoughts on this first half really quickly here in these final. If you can give me a 5-second summation of this first half.
Well, it's the Huskies are taking advantage of the opportunities, and the Wildcats are missing those opportunities, and I think we've seen that throughout the first half.
Here we go now. Looks to be the final play of the first half, and it is Justin Swedish. He will take a knee, and that'll bring the first half to an end here, or not quite, as he takes a knee here. 2 seconds to go, and the buzzer will sound, and with that knee, that will end the first half. Your score, the Edmonton Huskies 27, the Edmonton Wildcats 3 here in round 1 of the Battle of Edmonton, week 2 of the 2018 Prairie Football Conference season. And we're going to have Darcy Park join us in just a second or two. And he certainly has something to say. We're going to ask him about that penalty for sure. I mean, right off the top, I think he's, this is one of these times where I'm glad I'm up here because I get a chance to interview the coaches, and we'll get Darcy here on the headphones. And Darcy, you're up. Thanks for joining us here at the half. Thanks for. And Darcy, thanks for joining us here at the half. Head coach Darcy Park. with Rob Harrod. Darcy, that penalty at the end of the half here, that roughing the passer penalty, that's a tough one. And Darcy's having a hard time hearing us. He'll join us in just a second. We'll just check on that. But I know that certainly Darcy was conferring with the officials, and maybe we will. And Darcy, if you got us, Rob and Kevin from up here, it looks like Darcy can't hear us at this moment. So maybe Rob will just we'll let Darcy go into the room, and we'll continue our conversation here. Actually, do we have him?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay, Darcy, sorry for you couldn't hear us, and we were I was already 3 or 4 questions in, Darcy, but let's go back to my first one, which is that roughing the passer penalty at the end of the half. That's a tough one.
Yeah, we can't dwell on that. We had opportunities to make some plays, and we let it go. Obviously, that's the referee's judgment call was that we hit the head. I don't think we did, and that would have been a huge play. But there's still 30 minutes to go, and we've kind of settled down a bit. We've taken care of our special team problems on punt cover, our protection issues, and I think we're looking forward to getting on in the second half here.
Darcy, you mentioned the opportunities that just kind of fell sometimes out of the hands of your receivers. What's your message going to be to your team to say, hey, we got to take advantage of those things?
Well, I mean, that's what we talked about. We have guys we believe can make plays, and you can't make a 21-point play on one catch, but you can make that one catch. And we're just going to, again, go reinforce, hey, we've got the right stuff called. We have to take what they're giving us and let our athletes run. I think we saw some examples of that later on in the second quarter where, we did hit the underneath stuff and let our athletes run. We got to protect a little bit up front, and then Justin's got to make quick decisions and get the ball out of his hands.
Now you've got to be happy with your offensive line as well. They've given Justin a good pocket, some time in the pocket. So there have been some positives on both sides of the ball, or really all 3 phases.
Yeah, I'm looking at the scoreboard. So we're done with the moral victories. We want to come out and start imposing our will on this team. We believe that we can play with them, and I want our athletes to go out there and improve in the second half.
You bet. Well, good luck the rest of the way, Coach, and we'll chat with you a little later tonight. Thanks again to Darcy Park of the Edmonton Wildcats for joining us here at the end of the first half. The score 27-3 for the Edmonton Huskies here in round 1 of the Battle of Edmonton Prairie Football Conference. And in just a few moments, we will have Megan Tanner, the general manager of the Wildcats, joining us up here in our broadcast booth. But Rob, why don't you take us through some of the stats? And we will get to the stats in just a few moments, and we will get to Megan Tanner in just a second as well when we come right back here on the ICU video procast of the Battle of Edmonton between the Huskies and the Wildcats. And welcome back to halftime in the Battle of Edmonton here in the Prairie Football Conference between the Edmonton Huskies and the Edmonton Wildcats. The score at the half, the Edmonton Huskies lead 27-3. It is my pleasure to have a real special member of Edmonton's football community here. It is Megan Tanner, the general manager of the Edmonton Wildcats, and you have had a very exciting off-season. This organization has really transformed under your watch in terms of community spirit, getting the players involved. First of all, on behalf of ICU Video, congratulations on all of the tremendous efforts you've made in the community, and tell us a little bit about the off-season and some of the things that you've done.
Yeah, we had a really busy off-season again. We worked with our partners, the Edmonton Food Bank, Habitat for Humanity, our usuals. most of those we've been in there every year for 5 years, so it was really exciting to be back. We tried out a couple new ones, and we tried to do a fashion show. It didn't work out for us, but we at least, we're venturing into some new things, which is exciting to do.
Absolutely, and I have to say that the visibility of the Wildcats players has never been, it seems to be, all the time. Community events, the Wildcats are there, whether you're at the Eskimo games and the 50-50. So have you seen the community really responding in a lot of ways in terms of, bringing back the awareness of junior football in Edmonton?
I think so, yeah. We're definitely starting to get some recognition as a player. We're getting people who are calling us, asking for our players to come out and help now, different nonprofits and just different events going on that we've never seen before. So obviously it's getting out there that we're community players and we want to be a part of things.
Now, the football community in Edmonton received some bad news about almost a month ago, and we understand that you are leaving the Wildcats at the end of this season.
Yeah.
And I know everyone in the organization is like, no, it was a bit of a down day, but tell us what's in your future. I mean, you have had such a positive, you've been with the Wildcats for 10 years.
6.
So, 6, okay, yeah. I thought it was 6. Probably some days it feels like 10. But, overall, what are some of the things that you're most proud of?
I'm really proud of the In the Community program. That's something that when I started, the team had the right intention there, but they didn't really have a program set out. So that's something I worked really, really hard on and got going. And just, the communication and everything within the team. I obviously didn't know anything about football when I started, and I was just doing communications. So it was really great to kind of learn and to be a part of it for this long.
And let me say this, the best communications person in the Canadian Junior Football League anywhere from coast to coast. And like I say, it's been such a joy. I mean, we're going to miss you because, whether it's the lineups or letting us know about community events, we've certainly enjoyed working with you. We've still got the rest of the season, so we can get misty. We can get misty and emotional a little later.
Yeah.
But we just want to thank you for joining us here on the first home game of the Wildcats. And, of course, there are some winnable games coming up, and you've got some important fundraisers coming up. Make sure you check the website. You've got the Colts game coming up next Saturday. Let's get a caravan down to Calgary. That's a big game. It's a winnable football game against the Colts. So let's get a caravan of Wildcats down the QE2 and lead the Wildcats on to victory. And, of course, not only is the optimism in the community, but the optimism is on the field too, isn't it?
It is, yeah. You know what, our guys had a great week of practice, and we were lucky. We got flooded out of our clubhouse. We were homeless all last week, and the Edmonton Eskimos opened up their doors, and the city moved around and got things for us. So, we had a little bit of distractions this week, but I think we're ready to go forward again.
Absolutely, and as we mentioned right off the top, it's hard to rebuild a program, be it in the community or on the field. And you know what, when you've got great people like yourself and Darcy working so hard, certainly everything is trending all the way up for this football team. And congratulations to you. We're going to miss you. We'll talk about that a little later in the season, but thank you for joining us. Megan Tanner, my guest at the half, general manager of the Edmonton Wildcats. And when we come back, we'll have a look at the stats and second half action of the Battle of Edmonton here on the ICU video procast of Prairie Football Conference action. Welcome back to halftime at Clarke Stadium here in round one of the Battle of Edmonton here in the 2018 season of the Prairie Football Conference. Kevin Donnan with ICU Video along with Rob Harrod, my analyst here in this game as we move towards the second half of action here at Clarke Stadium. Rob, take us through the statistics and a 27-3 lead for the Huskies, but there are some positives for the Wildcats here, and statistically, a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah, the statistics are going to show exactly what the scoreboard shows.
Sure.
And just to give you some numbers, Justin Swedish was 6 for 13 for 55 yards, and Tommy Yanchuk 8 for 14 for 102 yards. And then Brendan Guy pitched in 3 for 3, 34 more yards through the air. Total offense for the Huskies was 238, and total offense for the Wildcats was 69. A lot of that coming in the second quarter, and they definitely have to make some changes on offense and start moving the ball and take advantage. The one thing that we're not seeing on here is missed opportunities, and we've been talking about that quite a bit. But again, turnovers right now, 3 for the Wildcats and 2 for the Huskies.
And joining us at the start of the second half is head coach Ian Mcclain of the Huskies. And Ian, give us your thoughts on that first half. Some missed opportunities, some penalties, a little bit of a mixed bag for you. You've got a big lead, but there are some things to fix out there.
Absolutely. We have penalties that are extending drives for the other team. We have penalties that are putting us back. We have guys not getting on the field and it's supposed to be. It's unfortunate that we talk about it so often in practice and it happens in games, but they need to get themselves right because the score is great right now. We have to keep it going. This is a 0-0 half.
Bringing in Brendan Guy, was that midway through the second quarter? Did Yanchuk come out a little tight or something, or what was the switch? Give us a thoughts into the switch on that one.
Same process we did last year. We had Brad and Tommy. We have 4 great quarterbacks that can play, and we want to make sure we're getting guys reps. We want to make sure we get guys meaningful reps, and so we put Brendan Guy in, got Tommy watch for a little bit. It's the same system we've had for the past few years.
You know, Ian, Rob here. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us. We saw in the first half, obviously, you had some field goals and some great field goals, and it's nice to rely on a kicker that can kick from that kind of distance. But what was your message to the offense on really getting great field positioning but not converting all the time into touchdowns?
We just need 12 guys doing the job on every single play, and that's the thing that hasn't happened yet this game. We have our offensive line firing out. We have to make sure that all of our guys are doing their job every single play because we can't hurt ourselves. We have to play against 12 guys. We can't play against 13. We have to make sure we're going out there and doing our job, doing our work, and not putting ourselves in a bad situation.
Okay, well, want to thank Ian Mcclain, the head coach of the Huskies, for joining us at the half, and good luck the rest of the way, Coach. Minute and a half to go here in the intermission here at Clarke Stadium. So glad you're along with us. Of course, that is our end cut from the north end zone, and as you can see, nice shot by Mark, our new camera guy, the rookie. We put him up in the lift. That's part of our initiation here on the ICU Video Procast. If you are the rookie, you're going up top. But let's do some business before we start this second half. And the Edmonton Wildcats would like to thank Mcclain Consulting, JC Boiler Service Limited, Regent Supply, quality products and service you can count on, Madson's Custom Cabinets, and Tanner Young Publishing Group, and of course the Edmonton Eskimos, such wonderful supporters of junior football here in Edmonton. So on our screen are the sponsors of Wildcats football for 2018, and the Edmonton Wildcats board, staff, coaches, players, and fans would all like to thank those invaluable sponsors in the community. And Rob, you know it as a former player at the university and pro level, and as a head coach with the Millwoods Christian School. Those community sponsors make all the difference.
They really do, and we're talking about 70 years of a program, and
absolutely,
throughout those 70 years, the sponsors have been there. They've supported the programs, and that's what really creates a great football environment. And really, a critical part to each of these programs is those sponsors.
Well, and let's face it, the Edmonton Wildcats, dating all the way back to 1948, really the Wildcats starting football here in Edmonton, and they were part of that early tradition that began with the Eskimos in the early 50s, and of course that first dynasty, and some great teams here at Clarke Stadium with the Huskies and Wildcats over the years, the national championships, the Grey Cups. Edmonton is really, arguably one of the greatest football communities in our country, and from minor football through to high school to junior football, Edmonton is where it's at when it comes to football. And we've got two great teams on the field, and we're just about to kick off the third quarter. Kevin Donnan along with Rob Harrod here on the ICU Video Procast. Of course, we're proud to bring you the 2018 seasons of both the Huskies and Wildcats, and certainly high expectations for both teams, Rob.
Yeah, and again, both teams want to come out and establish themselves early. You can't get behind in the race for making the playoffs, and the Huskies are coming out doing that. The Wildcats are continuing to build, and they need to continue to push, right? They have to get their mind right so they can challenge what is going to be a great team, and a team that's going to challenge for the national championship. And so it's a good measuring stick for some of these young players and some of these veterans that are growing on the Wildcats roster.
And talk about, here we go with Cole Sabourin now, a bit of a bunch, and the second half is underway. Sabourin with the big kick. English has to retreat back to his three. He's going to try the wide side of the field, and good return by Ramon English, the running back, number 25, out to the 25-yard line. And updating a score, the out-of-town scoreboard, big upset this afternoon in the Queen City. The Winnipeg Rifles go into Regina, and the Thunder pull off a 29-21 victory. So big upset in the Queen City. The Rifles, of course, a top 10 team in the nation, and the Rifles, just got by the Wildcats, and so that's a big upset here early in the season. Justin Swedish still at quarterback for the Wildcats. He'll swing it out to number 25, Ramon English, along the far sideline, and that is a 5-yard pickup for the Wildcats. So a big upset. The Prairie Football Conference, never a dull moment. You never take anything for granted, and the Thunder pull off a big upset.
Well, things can change quickly on each team. Looking at your graduating players, who's done, who's gone, who's coming back. Excuse me. How are the young guys doing? How are they developing? And again, that's the tone, and that's what you got to find out in the first few weeks. Where is the pecking order in the Prairie Football Conference, and who's going to be the team to beat when all the dust settles at the end of the season?
Trying to get a number on the injured Husky player. We believe it's number 15, Brandon Mellon, who had the tackle on the far side. Medical staff and now head coach Ian Mcclain pops over, so it was at the end of the play. Just 27 seconds have expired here in the second half, and Swedish completes that pass. There's 15, so it does look like it is Brandon Mellon, number 15, along that far sideline, just south of the Husky bench. Kevin Donnan along with Rob Harrod, the ICU Video Procast. Let's give a big hand to number 15, Brandon Mellon, as he gets up. Looks like he'll be okay. He wants to get back in there. 2nd and 5. Training staff is saying, no, you got to take a play or two off here. 2nd and 5 now, out of the shotgun. Swedish, 2 steps, going to step up, and he's going to go up top, down the far sideline, and pass broken up on the play. The defenders step for step with the receiver, Braden Wick, number 10. Nice route, a 9 route right down the sideline, but good defense by the Husky defender.
Yeah, tight coverage, and what you want to teach your receivers to do is try to fight back to that. The ball was just a little bit underthrown. If he could have got that over the shoulder, I'm sure it would have been a completed pass. Again, not a bad spot to put the ball. Unfortunately, they're now in a punting situation.
12, Ben Wilton of the Huskies with the coverage. There's the kick by Camarada, the punt, and it will travel out of bounds right at midfield, or right at the 54-yard line of the Huskies, where they will start their first offensive series. And as Ian Mcclain mentioned, hey, we've been doing this for 2 or 3 years now with the rotating quarterbacks. Yanchuk, of course, and it's a strategy that Mcclain used last year with Lonhart and Yanchuk. He's got Brendan Guy, but Tommy Yanchuk comes out to start this second half, and Yanchuk, of course, with that the big play, the 40-yard touchdown at the end of the half. So here's Yanchuk. Shotgun formation. Play action. And the pass falls just incomplete. Nearly caught by Tanner Buchanan.
A little different of an offensive look that you're seeing the Huskies come out, and they actually had 2 fullbacks in playing the tight end position and 3 receivers off the line with a running back. And so again, you're giving looks, and I think in the first half what we've seen from the offense of the Huskies is a mixed bag. And again, the defense for the Wildcats just aren't going to be able to key on anything. They just seem to be one step ahead each time with different motions, different plays.
2nd and 10 now for the Huskies. Here's Yanchuk out of the pocket, straight down the middle, and he nearly lays that ball in to number 5, Harrison Cable. Good coverage on the play. The two big guns in the defensive backfield, Savchuk and Dalkey, but good coverage by the former Rookie of the Year, Tony Savchuk.
Well, and I gave Jaden a little bit of grief earlier on giving up that touchdown. But again, if you see on that replay, as a safety, that's what you want to do. When the receivers are coming vertical downfield, he's gaining depth, and he actually turned to the opposite side of the field. But the fact that he was gaining depth allowed him to make a play on the field side, and it was a great job by the defense defending the deep ball.
Quick 2 and out for the Huskies, so a good defensive series for the Wildcats. Jake Withrow with about a 2-yard return, and the Wildcats will start 1st and 10 from the 22. There is a Wildcat player shaken up on that play. Number 60, Cody Lyons, shaken up right at midfield. Looks like it looks like a bit of an ankle injury or like a hamstring or something, but he was definitely limping right at the beginning of the play. 13:01 to go. Of course, the Wildcats in this 70th season. We want to extend our congratulations on behalf of the executive producer Rob Zitlaw and the entire crew. We want to wish a very happy anniversary to the Edmonton Wildcats here in their 70th anniversary season. And head coach Darcy Park is celebrating his 20th anniversary of his association with the Wildcats. So it's a very big year here in 2018. And the Wildcats, as Megan mentioned, Megan Tanner, the GM who joined us at the half, some very exciting off-the-field activities for the Wildcats. And as you know, as a head coach, it's important to get your players involved in those community events and give them a source of giving back as well.
It is, and it's about building culture. And again, the Wildcats have a tremendous amount of history in the organization, some great teams over the years, and that's what they're trying to get back to. And it takes a lot of people. It takes, administrators, general managers, coaching staff, all sorts of different personnel are involved in kind of setting that culture. And Darcy, obviously, from an on-field and player standpoint, is setting that. And it's, in our conversations with him over the years, again, it's about establishing the culture. What are we going to do? What are we going to be about? And let's get back to the old winning ways of the Wildcats. And that's so important. And again, it's not something you can kind of just flick a switch, but you need to establish the right players. You need the culture on your team. And again, as those young guys that we've seen over the last couple of years come into the organization, character guys, strong athletes, really starting to lead the team in the direction that really the whole organization wants them to go. And again, the Huskies are kind of in that rhythm right now. They've got the winning way. Ian's got them going in the right direction. And it's something that the Wildcats are just starting to build, and we've seen the growth over the last couple of years. And now, like Darcy said at the half, it's enough is enough about the moral wins. Let's get it done on the field. And you know what? It's opportunities that present themselves in the first half. This Wildcat team needs to take advantage of those, start making some plays.
And execute in the second half. And we wish the best to number 60, Cody Lyons, who cannot put any weight on that leg. But here we go now. Justin Swedish, Wildcats here, 1st and 10 from their 23. And the snap goes over the head of the quarterback, and he's downed by number 90, Alex Veer, the defensive lineman for the Huskies. So that's a big loss on the play. That's going to be a loss of 11, call it 12 yards. So that'll bring up 2nd and 22. And that's one of those undisciplined plays, one of those things that, it's all about execution. And that's that's the type of play that certainly Darcy Park wants to clean up. Here we go now. Swedish now out of the shotgun. Going to hand it off to number 25. English, he's got a nice hole. He nearly twists and turns his way. He's taken down at the 27-yard line. You know what, Rob? I've been impressed with Ramon English tonight.
Well, and again, we didn't get into all the rushing stats, but he was actually the leading rusher by 2 yards over Tommy Yanchuk and Burzek, those two rushing for 32 each, and he had 34 yards. But again, we're seeing the glimpse. We're seeing the skill that Darcy's seen in him, and that's why he's out there. They just got to get that going, and it just doesn't seem like they can get in a rhythm. They're going to take a bad penalty, have a bad snap, or miss the snap, whatever the case may be. And again, that's hard on an offense to try it when you can't establish a rhythm.
And Camerata's kick is straight up in the air. Loose football on the play right at midfield. There is a flag on the play, so it'll be interesting to see how we sort this one out. Camerata got right underneath that one.
Well, a little bit of a heads-up play, a little bit of a dangerous play, but again, the returner was up on the ball knowing it was going to be short, and he knew he had a guy within that 5-yard halo to get the no yards, so he got a hand on the ball as it came down.
Number 28 on the Wildcats. It's a 15-yard penalty.
And it is of the 15-yard variety, and you mentioned it earlier with an earlier penalty. When you're on that downfield, when you're on that cover team, you have to know where the ball is.
Yeah, you do, and again, it's tough when, when it's a good kick, it's a little easier to find it. When it's that short, it's really tough. And again, the onus then flips on to the responsibility of usually the punter. And again, you got to be vocal and you got to yell, short, short, short. Let the guys know that this ball is coming down short, see if they can locate it and get out of the way.
Good field position for the Huskies right at the 38-yard line. Here's Janchuk out of the shotgun. Going to hand it off to Burzik, and he is met right at the line of scrimmage. Good tackle by number 6, Noah Perkins. He's part of that linebacking core of Davidge, Perkins, and number 45, Riley Thompson. And that's a very solid unit for Darcy Park, that linebacking core of the Wildcats.
And that's what they need, is they've had the secondary and they've had a strength there, and now they got to get those linebackers going, and that's a great play there.
Good pursuit by the Wildcat linebacking core. Janchuk operating pretty much exclusively out of the shotgun. 2nd and 8 now. Janchuk. Far hash mark. Little play action. Going to swing it out to that left side. And there's a shot from Jaden Dalkey on number 2, Connor Mickle, the ex-McNally Tiger. And boy, when Jaden Dalkey gets ahead of steam, look out when you get him in the open field, and Mickle turns right at the right time because Dalkey is coming with an attitude.
There's a lot of speed on both sides of the ball there. That can be big collisions. So great job of absorbing that and still getting close to the first down marker.
Very close to the first down. 3rd and 1 for the Huskies. Janchuk is going to try the quarterback sneak and spotted the ball. So everyone on the Wildcats is pointing towards the north end zone, and the Huskies are pointing towards the south. You know how this works. Just under 10 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter here on the ICU Video Procast. Here's a great look from our sideline camera. Matt on the sideline, and good camera work there by my old partner, Matt.
Yeah,
I miss Matt. Matt's down on the sideline all by his lonesome. He misses me. He's been saying you don't write, you don't call, but a great shot by Matt. Maybe Matt's improving because I'm not distracting him every other minute. Here's Janchuk, live action, going to go up top, into the corner, into the end zone, and the pass falls incomplete. Number 87, Chris Edmonds, right there, and number 27, Jordan Wilson with the coverage on the play, but Chris Edmonds had a touchdown right in his hands.
He did, and he ran a nice route, got downfield, and again, they're looking at taking advantage of the height advantage. I'm not sure what their stats are, but he's almost got a foot on the DB on the corner.
Knee block, number 60 on the Huskies. It's a 15-yard penalty. It will be second
15-yard unnecessary roughness penalty. The call against, missed the number on that. I believe it's Joel Cardinal, number 60 of the, that is correct, number 60, Joel Cardinal of the Huskies, who's called on that 15-yard penalty. So that'll back things up all the way to the 43-yard line of the Wildcats and bring up 2nd and very, very long. 2nd and about 25. Here's Janchuk now out of the shotgun. Good pocket across the middle. And once again, that high throw intended, number 80, Sam Clayton, and Janchuk seems like we've talked about it a few times, still sailing that ball a little bit.
It is a couple times. It seems like he's on target deep downfield, and he seems like the short stuff, he's on target. It's that mid-range, 10 to 15 yards. He seems to be just over missing some of those guys, and we see a little bit of a disarray on the Wildcat side. They've got guys running on the field trying to get ready to return this punt.
And they wisely call a timeout here.
Timeout. Charge Wildcats.
And it is again the timeout called by the Wildcats. And of course, the Wildcats on this 70th anniversary season, of course, they've got a really exciting offer, the Wildcats do, and they're raffling off a chance to get to see the Rocky Mountains from a new perspective. Their Westjet Raffle has been revamped, and this year's first prize is a Banff helicopter tour package, which includes one night stay at a 4-star hotel, Three Sisters Peak helicopter tour for 2 adults. Second prize is a set of 4 tickets to the Grey Cup with a $100 gift certificate for, for food and beverages. And tickets are being sold by players, coaches, and board members of the Wildcats beginning on August 13th, and that draw will be made later in the season. So get in on the tickets of that, Rob. Who wouldn't want to see the Rocky Mountains via helicopter, courtesy of a ticket from the Wildcats? So
I think I may have to pick up a couple tickets myself.
Yeah,
it'd be a nice little trip. The only problem I would have is convincing my kids that they're not coming with us on the helicopter tour.
Boy, it's going to be hard to pick seats on that one for sure. But make sure you get in on that. Check the Edmonton Wildcats website for that exciting raffle. And back to the live action. Here's Cole Sapper, number 18. Beautiful angle kick. And Cole Sabourin of the Huskies is, boy, I'll tell you, talk about a hot start to the season. He's kicked 2 field goals here tonight, and he was 4 of 5 last week, and he's been doing an amazing job kicking the football for Ian Mcclain.
Well, it's great to have an athlete play in that position. You saw him make a difference right from the get-go.
Big play right off the first offensive series.
And you know what? That really changed the momentum. What could have gone the Wildcats' way actually didn't, and actually it kind of accelerated the Huskies into the momentum, and then they really haven't given that up yet.
Here we go now from the 11-yard line. Here's Justin Swedish, number 9, the quarterback for the Wildcats. He's going to look over the middle, and a nice catch by Moak, number 23. And I'll tell you, every time number 23, Kiefer Moak, is on the football field, positive things happen for the Wildcats.
Well, high comfort level, and you can see what he has, patient in the pocket, and I love him standing in there. You know, in the first half, we saw a little bit of maybe nerves, not sure, but he was taken off a little bit early. But he did a great job of just slowly sliding up into the pocket, eyes downfield, finding his receiver for a nice big play.
Great play by Kiefer Moak, 28 yards on that pass reception, and Moak had a couple of big plays at the end of the quarter. There's the handoff straight up the middle. Number 25, Ramon English. Tackle made by number 92, Justin Pearson, the big defensive lineman for the Huskies. Not a lot of running room for English. We'll call it a pickup of about 2. Call it 2nd and 8 from the Wildcat 43-yard line. 7:40 to go here in the third quarter. The Battle of Edmonton. Huskies lead 27-3. Here's Swedish out of the shotgun. 3 receivers left side. And Swedish takes a shot. And there is a flag at the end of that play. Swedish, though, good on him, tall in the pocket. He got drilled. Number 27, Brett Vander Korpet. But, wow, Justin Swedish standing tall in the pocket. And I'll tell you, to play quarterback is not for the lighthearted, Rob.
No, that is not fun, and again, you probably see him coming full speed.
55 on the Wildcats. That penalty is declined. It'll be 3rd down.
And that is a holding call coming against the Wildcats, so it'll be 3rd down, but there's the big shot by Justin Swedish. Great camera work by Mark up in the end cut, and Justin Swedish is going to feel that one tomorrow morning, Rob.
He is great drawn up play by the defense to send a little bit of a stunt, and again, coming around with that type of speed. Justin Swedish was just getting a little bit too comfortable back in the pocket, and they need to get some pressure on him.
There's Camarada's kick, end over end, fielded at the 41. Return of about 7 on the play. Once again, good downfield coverage by the Wildcats. Number 53, DJ DeSuter, the backup linebacker for the Wildcats. There's Camarada again, another near block, and the return by the Huskies with 7:14 to go.
Well, I think we figured out why the downfield coverage is so good, because they're letting some guys come through. So again, in special teams, it's such a fine balance. When do you release to get downfield? They've got to make sure the blocking up front is good there, because the most important thing is getting that punt off.
Far hash mark now, Huskies 1st and 10 following the punt. And here's Tommy Yanchuk calling his own number, but Good read by the Wildcat defense. That's number 97, Wyatt Schutz, and number 44, Ben Davidge. Good read on that play on that bit of an RPO there.
Yeah, and again, what you're seeing is like what we call a zone read, and again, it can have different terminology,
Sure.
but basically what's happening is the quarterback has the option. He's usually assigned one guy to read. If he comes down on the running back, he pulls the ball and has the option to run. He sometimes has receivers he can throw the ball to. We've seen a little bit of that on both sides.
Pickup of about 3, 2nd and 7. Yanchuk now under pressure, going to try that shovel pass to Burzik, and it's going to work, and the Huskies will get a first down into Wildcat territory. So a little bit of improvisation there by Yanchuk. Pretty good poise by the second-year quarterback.
Well, great job by Yanchuk. But you know, he knows who can run the ball better than him, and he gave it to him and let him do the work. And so that's a good job. Good heads-up play, seeing the guy making a nice save, shuffle pass to get it into the hands of their playmaker.
A little bit of extracurricular stuff after the whistle between Dalkey and Burzik. We called that off the beginning. Those two were going to be going head-to-head all night long. That pass complete. Here's Yanchuk tall in the pocket, complete to number 6, Tanner Buchanan. Taken down by a pair of Wildcats. Bring up 2nd and 2 Huskies. Inside the 40 now. There's the handoff to Burzik, and Burzik, you kind of want to compare him to Pinball Clemens. You know that, that first contact, and there's nothing to tackle because that center of gravity is so low, Rob.
Yeah, and you can see he gets the first guy, makes a miss. It's just slippery. He's just a slippery running back, quick feet, great vision. And again, the analogy with Pinball is a great one because he really is. He's hard to bring down. He's got quick feet.
Number 22, Brant Burzik, one of the key cogs of the offensive machine here for the Huskies, who put up 66 points against the Calgary Colts. Now Burzik is going to reverse his field, and he's taken down. He tried the outside, stopped, and that's the other thing about Burzik is he's got such great stop-and-go ability. He's got the ability to cut on a dime.
Yeah, and you can see him push the edge here, sees it one step outside, turns the guy around, then comes back and gets the first down.
There's a Wildcat player shaken up on the play. That is number 46, Esteban Velasco. He's down on the 25-yard line, 4:49 to go. And as we mentioned, there's nothing to tackle there when you get Burzik down nice and low. So here we are, 4:49 to go. Kevin Donnan on the ICU Video Procast along with Rob Harrod. This is the 70th anniversary season of the Edmonton Wildcats, and we are so pleased and proud to bring it to you from Clarke Stadium in Edmonton. As we mentioned, the weather tonight, there is a threat of rain late this evening, but the haze that we've been living under for about 2.5 weeks is really unrelenting. And we mentioned it earlier, Rob, as you can see the shots, even from our vantage point, you look up into the lights and it's still very hazy. And as you mentioned as a coach, you walk us through, athlete safety in terms of this. You've got to be really aware. You got to, not only are you a head coach, you got to worry about schemes and players. Now you got to be a weatherman.
Well, and the cost goes up if I have to move all my practices indoors. And again, with regards to weather quality, it's about player safety, and more so now than ever in the world of football. It's about the player safety, and we want to make sure that we're taking care of the players who are dedicating the time and energy to football. But again, that's going to require a change. That's going to require different things with the smoke in the air. And really, our thoughts and prayers go out to what's going on
Absolutely.
in BC. And it's
kidding.
we complain about the smoke, but there's families, there's families out of homes. There's endless amounts of forest burning up, and we just kind of thoughts and prayers to the firefighters who are constantly fighting those and trying to get those under control. And we hopefully we'll see some rain over the next couple of weeks to kind of keep that at bay.
Especially over the province of BC, you bet. There's a big hand for number 46, Esteban Velasco, and we'll spot the ball right at the 24. Absolutely, Rob. We want to give our thoughts and the tip of the cap to those first responders out in BC. And as you mentioned, want to make sure that haze, we get this haze out of here and get some rain out, and our friends out in BC. Now back to the live action. Here's Yanchuk now going to roll left on the play fake, and out in space, twisting and turning, and that is a Huskies touchdown. Number 80, Sam Clayton, and He takes that pass across the middle, and he just does the rest here.
You know, and in that replay, you can see Tommy Yanchuk does a great job of giving a great fake into the belly of the running back, and you saw the defensive lineman coming from the backside, went right down the line of scrimmage, had no idea. And in comparison to Swedish on the other side of the football, watching him in some of his play action, okay, they run some of the same run-pass options. I think what I'd like to see out of him if I was his coach is a little bit more of the play fake. And again, when he does hand the ball off, is he continuing through with his fake?
And there is Cole Sabrin with the point after, which is good, and the score now 34-3 with 4:24 to go. But as you mentioned, just an absolute textbook play fake right there. You can't coach it any better than that.
Well, and that's why you need every guy on a team to do their job, because if the quarterback is handing off the ball, if he stands there and watches, then the defensive lineman or the linebacker know he doesn't have the ball, right? And so you want to see your quarterback always roll out, whether he's got the ball or doesn't. So someone has to be accountable for him, and I want to see that on both sides of the ball. And so I think those are the little things that as Swedish develops into a quarterback and just continues to work on his skills, he's got to take care of those small little details, because really it's those little details that really show up in a game like this, where it's the opportunities, like whether it's the drop pass or it's the missed snap, all the little missed opportunities have been on the Wildcat side.
Absolutely, yeah.
And those and it comes down to taking care of the little things. And Darcy's talked about those things. He's like, it's the little things that matter, because you add them all up and it turns out to be big things in a game like this.
Here's Sapper now going to kick things off as the Huskies widen their lead following that touchdown by Sam Clayton. Here's the kickoff, as Withrow has some challenges corralling that kickoff, and Withrow makes something out of nothing and gets things back to the 20-yard line. 4:17 to go. There is a Wildcat player shaken up on that return right at the 20-yard line. Going to try and get a number. That is number 26. Jack Jones, the linebacker for the Wildcats. And as we mentioned, want to thank you, all of our viewers near and far, for joining us on this ICU video procast. Kevin Donnan along with Rob Harrod here from hazy Clarke Stadium in Edmonton, Alberta, here in week 2 of the 2018 Prairie Football Conference. And there's a look at a very, very nice crowd, Rob. It's great to see a crowd like this coming out tonight for junior football in Edmonton. And of course, for our viewers, if you're a minor football player, Adam, Pee Wee, Bantam, and if you wear your jersey to any home game, be it Wildcats or Huskies this season, you will receive your admittance free. Your ticket is free. Come on in, wear your jersey, whether you're in high school or any level of minor football. Come on down and take in some of the action of the Prairie Football Conference right here at Clarke Stadium. And of course, we've got games coming up all throughout the fall with the Wildcats and Huskies. And if you can't get down to Clarke Stadium, then make sure you become part of the ICU video procast online. And they're taking a look here. Number 26, Jack Jones, the linebacker. Of course, coming up, there is another game tonight. We're going to have our crack research staff check this out. We're going to see if we can find a score for the Colts and Hilltops tonight at Saskatoon Memorial Field in Saskatoon. Of course, we mentioned there's a hand for the injured ball player from the Wildcats, Jack Jones, earlier this afternoon, or earlier this evening, really. The Regina Thunder pulled off a big upset, 29-21 over the Winnipeg Rifles. So the Rifles fall to 1-1, while the Thunder even their record to 1-1. So a big upset in the Queen City by the Regina Thunder. Justin Swedish now out of the shotgun. 4:17 to go, third quarter. Wildcats down by 31. There's Swedish now, flags fly. He's got a free play right down the middle and nearly picked off. He was looking for number 81, Lucas Howe. Coverage on the play, Justin Hodinsky. Hodinsky nearly had the interception, but nice touch on the ball by Swedish and a near completion there. Take a look at the flag here and get the call from our referee.
93 on the Huskies.
Yeah, offside the call by the Huskies, but that near free play, Justin Swedish nearly laid that ball right in there.
Yeah, and again, that's a good, when we talk about the development of a quarterback, that's a good job to recognize and take his shot downfield.
1st and 5 on the 5-yard offside penalty. There's Swedish right down the middle. Nice pass to Jake Whitrow, and that pass is complete. Big play by the Wildcats, and right down the seam. Good pocket, good throw, good catch.
Yeah, you know what? That's what you need to see. You know, they're establishing a rhythm. They get a penalty. They move the ball downfield. Justin Swedish is getting a little bit more comfortable in that backfield.
And here go the Wildcats. Up-tempo, no huddle. Across the middle now. Wide open, and another Wildcat first down. That's number 4, Jacob Mihalaitis coming across the middle. Swedish finds him, and now the Wildcats are going into a no-huddle offense. Nice play here by the Wildcats. Here's Swedish out of the gun. In the hurry-up. Chased out of the pocket. Swedish right at the line of scrimmage. And there is a flag in the Wildcat backfield as Swedish was chased out of bounds. The pass falls incomplete. Check to see what the call is. Came in right at the end of the play as Swedish was chased out and pass fell incomplete. So Wildcats going to a bit of a no huddle here.
Yeah, and I think what we're seeing is Justin's getting enough time in the backfield to throw the ball downfield. And
Wildcats number 69. That's a 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Holding call against number 69, Mike Ray, former AOB Crusader.
So they're trying to get their offense going, and they're finding time. And so the Huskies, in response to that, are finding different ways to get pressure, because you can see they're lining up with 3 D linemen and 4 linebackers. So they're bringing guys from different places to get pressure on Justin.
1st and 20 now. Here's Swedish now, chased out of the pocket. Going to call his own number, going to run down to the 44-yard line. There is a flag on the play. Big hit. Swedish absorbs a big hit. There's a flag on the near sideline as Swedish picks up 6 on that scamper chased out of the pocket. 2:52 to go here in the 3rd quarter. And we'll get the call from our referee.
Holding. Wildcats number 23. That's a 10-yard penalty. Still
Another holding penalty against the Wildcats. That's number 23, Kiefer Moak. We'll see if we can take a look at the call. And yeah, there he. Oh yeah, he's got both. He's getting his money's worth on that one.
There's legal holding, and then there's illegal holding, and that's the illegal form right there.
You bet. And it is 1st and, well, the only way to say it is a lot. 1st and 30 for the Wildcats, as Swedish is going to try and gain some of these yards back. And there's Moak going to go right back to him. And there's Moak with lowers the shoulder and brings the wood to the defender. Number 20, Dwight Francis, with the worst of that one. And little Kiefer Moak. Well, there we go, lower the shoulder.
When the offensive line and running backs of the Cats don't hold, they're doing a great job buying time, and they're getting guys open downfield. And so, again, they've got to just continue this momentum. It was a huge feat at 1st and 30. They're halfway there.
Great shot by Matt Mosowich on the sideline, our sideline camera here on the ICU Procast. Here's Swedish now, and looked like that ball was almost tipped at the line, or he got a little over the top on it or something.
Well, I think he definitely saw the pressure coming. They ended up bringing 3 linebackers as well as their 3 defensive linemen. So they brought a total of 6 guys on that to put pressure on to get that ball out early, knowing it was 2nd and about 13 yards. They had to either take something underneath or they were going to get to the quarterback.
Camerata now back to kick for the Wildcats. He's going to be standing at his own 53, and they go a little bit of no huddle, and Camerata will have to do that over again. Back deep for the Huskies are number 86.
53 on the Wildcats. That's a
and another penalty here, number 53. The procedure call against DJ DeSuter, so that'll back things up 5 yards. And Camerata will now kick from about his own 48 now. So back deep for the Huskies, number 86, Jake Strakowitz, who has a couple of returns on the night. And Camerata will kick things away here, and just gets it away. That one floats towards the far sideline, and it's picked up right at the near sideline. 4-yard return there by number 86, Jake Strakowitz. So the Huskies will take over 1st and 10 with a 31-point lead, 1:26 to go here at Clarke Stadium in round 1 of the Battle of Edmonton. Glad you're along with us.
Yeah, and again, we've talked about the punt team and the amount of pressure that they're coming, and the Huskies are really bringing a lot of speed off the edge. And so what you want to do as a coach when you're talking about your punt team is you want to try to widen that edge and make that too far for them to get to. And again, with the speed they have, they've gotten close.
And here we go now, Huskies. 1st and 10 from their 33-yard line, and could not get the play off. And we have a change at quarterback for the Huskies. Number 13, Brendan Guy back in at quarterback. He had he was a very productive quarterback in that second quarter. He went 3 for 3 as Janchuk Janchuk took some time. Got a little bit of a settle down move, I think, by Ian Mcclain, and Janchuk came out throwing late in the second quarter and put up a touchdown on the board, but Brendan Guy getting some reps at quarterback as well.
Yeah, and that's the sign of an organization that kind of is where they want to be. You know, when you're thinking, okay, yes, our goal this year is a national championship, and I don't doubt for a second in Ian's mind that's what they're trying to do, but you don't sacrifice the future of anything for 1 year. And again, you're helping your starting quarterback to see things from a different perspective, see what a different defense is doing. You're also developing your young guys in case something happens and you need to go to a young guy a little bit later in the year.
And as Ian was quoted in the Edmonton Sun a couple of days ago, or just yesterday, as a matter of fact, as he said, you know, the lesson they learned last year, good defense on the play there by the Wildcats. That's number 11, Brady Kerr, to break up that pass, and there's a flag in the Husky backfield. And we'll see what that call is. It was right behind the quarterback.
I think it was probably holding on the outside rusher.
Huskies number 38.
Oh, there you go. Nice call by the coach.
Hey, that's thanks to our replay guys. Man, our replay guys did a great job, and they caught him. They caught him with his hands as the guy's running around the edge. So
you can't get anything past our crew. If you know what, they'll find it no matter what happens. Our guys will find the penalty no matter what. Brendan Guy now out of the shotgun. 10-yard penalty, bearing up 1st and 20. There's a bullet across the middle, out of the reach of Connor Mickle, the former McNally Tiger, across the middle. Of course, Connor Mickle developing into one of the most exciting wide receivers in the Prairie Football Conference, and a big part of this team, especially those drag routes, those underneath routes, especially some of that when you need a check down or, you know, underneath, he's your guy. And here is Brendan Guy out of the shotgun with 2nd and very long for the Huskies, and he's going to get chased out of the pocket. He's got an option here. He retreats back, and good defense. That's why he's the number 3 ranked player in the nation. Jaden Dalkey with textbook pass defense right there, Rob.
Well, definitely an ill-advised pass by your quarterback, throwing back across your body, floater in the air, but great job. And, you know, that is a very, very hard pass for a defender to actually be patient on. And he did a great job waiting for the ball to arrive, but being in the perfect position to knock it out. Great job by the Wildcats, looking to get the ball back here for their offense in pretty decent field position.
Jake Withrow back at his own 45. Cole Saberin at his own 10 to kick things away here on what should be the final play of the 3rd quarter here at Clarke Stadium. And
time count violation on the Huskies. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Time count violation against the Huskies. That looks to be a bit of a personnel issue there. So Ian Mcclain content to take the 5-yard penalty, and this will be the final play of the 3rd quarter, barring another penalty.
Well, he's definitely content to take the penalty there, but I guarantee you it's not the last time he's going to talk about it to his coaching staff and his players about taking care of the little things in a football game.
And there's Saberin. Good kick. Fielded right at midfield by Jake Withrow. Pickup of about 7. Good return by Withrow. Good coverage on the play. That's number 28, Tristan Kohler of the Huskies. And that is the final play of the third quarter. Your score, the Edmonton Huskies 34, the Edmonton Wildcats 3 here in week 2, the ICU video procast here from Clarke Stadium, the Battle of Edmonton, Prairie Football Conference. The Edmonton Huskies look to be well on their way to a 2-0 record. And we talked about Ian Mcclain, and certainly the Huskies are in contention for that national title. But let's do some business. The Edmonton Wildcats would like to thank their many sponsors, so many important community members, and they are from Matson's Custom Cabinets, Regent Supply, quality products and service that you can count on, JC Boiler Service Limited, 24-hour service there, Tanner Young Publishing Group, McElhenney Consulting, and of course, the Edmonton Eskimos. So on our screen are the many supporters of Wildcats football here in 2018, and on behalf of the Edmonton Wildcats Football Club, they certainly want to thank all of their corporate sponsors bringing you Wildcats football in 2018. So we want to thank you as well for supporting minor football. Here we've got about a minute before the start of the fourth quarter, and if you're Darcy Park, how do you feel after 3 quarters against your #1 rival? And if you're going to measure yourself in the Prairie Football Conference, you got to measure yourself against the best. How has Darcy Park's team performed? Well, what kind of grade? You're a teacher as well. What kind of grade would you give the Wildcats tonight?
Well, in education right now, we want to always give kids the opportunity to redo things. And I know you can't take points off the board for redoing things, but I think the second half, they've done a really, really good job of kind of settling down, like Darcy said, at the half, and they're executing better. We just saw kind of a series play out there in the last few minutes of this game. The offense moved the ball, weren't able to quite get points out of it, but they were able to they punted the ball, held the Huskies, and then they got the ball back. And again, they gained some field position. They're in great position right now. And again, it's something. It's the steps that go. Okay, now we've got 3 steps that have gone well together. Let's see if we can continue that, and that's where momentum gets created. Let's see what their offense can do here with some pretty good field position.
So a real opportunity here for the Wildcats in the fourth quarter, as Rob mentioned. Work on consistency, work on execution, put some things together here. Here's Justin Swedish now in the pocket. He's going to look, he's going to roll right. He's going to look, going to throw, and a nice throw. Beautiful catch right down. What a great play. Jake Withrow right off the shoe tops. And what a play by the receiver. You got to love that one.
Well, I mean, you can't say enough about it. You can just watch on the replay here. It's low. He's coming back to the ball. He did a great job of bringing the ball into his body with his hands. You're not going to be able to make that catch with his arms. And here we go with our fast-paced offense again.
Here we go. No huddle offense. Here's Swedish now. Room to run right up the middle. He's going to try and cut. He breaks a tackle, spins, twists, turns. Justin Swedish down to the 10-yard line. And Justin Swedish gives his bench a bit of a lift here early in the fourth quarter. There is a flag on the near sideline right at the 23-yard line. So this up-tempo no huddle offense that Darcy Park has started here in the late stages of the third quarter, early fourth quarter, it seems to be working. It tires an offense out, but at least there's some positive yardage out there.
Well, and it usually tires the defense out more, and that's why they're going to it, and I think they're doing a good job, and you're also seeing a determination of a quarterback.
On the offense, with unnecessary roughness on the defense, difference will be 10 yards, first down.
So we have offsetting penalties here. Well, not really offsetting. We have the offside call against the Wildcats and a 15-yard unnecessary roughness. So there's a 10-yard difference there between the 5 and the 15. That'll move things up 10 yards, and it will be 1st and 10, Wildcats from the 15, looking for their first touchdown of 2018. Here's Justin Swedish out of the shotgun from the 15, going to step up, and he's still on his feet, taken down for the loss by number 41. That's Jason Brown, the linebacker for the Huskies. So Wildcats knocking on the door here at the 15, and they'd like to cash in with their first touchdown of the season.
Yeah, and the Huskies finding different ways to get Justin Swedish a little bit uncomfortable. They're not really getting pressure here. We've seen that in the third and now the beginning of the fourth quarter. They're not really getting pressure with just a three-man front, so they're bringing different guys. And in that case, Justin just didn't have enough time to set his feet and deliver the ball.
But a 3-yard loss, 2nd and 13. Justin Swedish, shotgun across the middle. And the pass is broken up. That is number 1, O'Shane Samuels, Defensive Player of the Week in the Prairie Football Conference last week in the Huskies' 66-0 demolition of the Colts. And, you know, we talk about rebuilding in the Wildcats. The Colts are definitely in a bit of a rebuilding phase, and it's going to be a long season in Calgary, but of course in the Prairie Football Conference, you know, you can rebound quickly, and certainly Calgary's got the talent down south for the Colts to come back and come back strong. But here's a field goal opportunity. The attempt from 24 yards out by Camarada, number 13. Good snap, good hold, and the kick is wide, but there is a flag on the play. Could have a contacting the kicker call here. 12:54 to go. Camarada looks like he just kind of powered that one through.
Yeah, I think he hooked it. I'm not a kicker. And I'm never gonna get myself out there doing it, but I think he hooked it a little bit.
Contacting the kicker on the defense. That's a 10-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Still 3rd down. It is a 10-yard contacting the kicker penalty. We'll see who it is, and it's a bit of an inadvertent thing there. That's number 8, Wes Bookland. So it's a 10-yard penalty, but it is still 3rd down by definition, or I guess by yard. It's 3rd and 4. The Wildcats faithful are telling Darcy Park, hey, you know what? Late in the game, let's go, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Here are the Wildcats. Fans love it. Swedish, 3 receivers to the left side, 2 to the right, out of the shotgun. English, number 25, in the backfield. Here's Swedish, shotgun, looking near side, going to try and turn around, and chased out of bounds is number 5, Leighton Barasenkov. Nice little route by number 5.
Well, risky little play on that, Jordan. I think they converted it. So,
and it is a 1st down for the Wildcats. Now the Wildcats are knocking on the door. 1st and goal to go from the 4-yard line. Good route, and the Wildcats are in business. Here we go. Swedish out of the shotgun. Going to look and throw into the end zone, and there's a flag on the play. 2 flags. There's a flag in the backfield and one at the point of attack. So we've got 2 flags on that play, Rob.
Well, and I think they're probably both going against the Huskies. It was hard to tell. It could have been a pick out there, but I think the last one was roughing the quarterback, and so I think that's going to bring it down to the 1 and put the Cats in a great position to get a touchdown, not a field goal. Pass
intended for number 4, Jacob Mihalaitis. Pass broken up on the far side.
Number 27 on the defense. Illegal contact. Number 1 on the defense. Ball will be placed at the 1. 1st down.
1st and goal to go from the 1. This is why Rob's the best in the business. He makes every penalty call out there. He got them both again. So you're on a roll tonight, and so are the Wildcats here. Let's get them a touchdown. First touchdown of 2018. Here's Justin Swedish, and he's got it. The Edmonton Wildcats with the touchdown. Their first of 2018, and there's Darcy Park saying, give me this single point. So Wildcats fans are loving this as the Cats get on the board, and good drive by the Wildcats, and that's got to feel good for Justin Swedish.
Well, it does. And not only was it a great drive, but it was really a great series. 2 drives in a row. The Wildcats offense was able to move the ball. One ended up in a punt. The defense did their job, got the ball back. This one ended up in a touchdown, which was a great job. And that's what you want to do. You want to build on it, and they're definitely building on a below average first half. This second half, they've matched them touchdown for touchdown.
I think Darcy Park is going to be. I think he's going to love watching film of the second half. First half, maybe not so much, but certainly the Wildcats, lots of positives in this second half, including capitalizing on their opportunities. And Here we go again. Let's take a look at this one more time. There's Justin Swedish making no mistake.
Well, and with his determination, he's not going to be denied. And again, a couple things that we've seen. The Wildcats haven't hurt themselves, right? They haven't made every play, but they haven't hurt themselves, and they've kept themselves in a position to execute. And that's either getting a new set of downs, getting the ball into the end zone. In this case, Ian Mcclain's not going to be happy about what could have been a single point is now turned into 7 for the Wildcats. He's not going to be happy about that, but there's definitely some momentum switch. Let's see if the Wildcats kickoff team can get a great cover, and maybe the defense can make another play and give that Wildcat offense, who's got some momentum, an opportunity to score some more points.
And as you also mentioned, get the ball in the hands of your playmakers, and that's the one thing that I think the Wildcats have done very well in this second half is get the ball to your playmakers, the guys with speed in space. Here's Camarada, big kick. Near side, that's number 86. Jake Strakowitz, he's going to try the far side. And once again, good. No complaints on the cover team for Darcy Park tonight, both in terms of kickoffs and punts. They've got some work to do in terms of punt coverage and trying to keep the blocks down, but overall special teams is going to get a bit of a check mark here for the Wildcats, who are on defense, and the Huskies will come out 1st and 10 from their own 27-yard line. Tommy Yanchuk back in at quarterback. Brendan Guy giving him some time off here in the late stages of the third quarter, and there's Tommy Yanchuk on the quarterback keeper, and he is taken down on the play. Good defense. That's number 92, Cole Milford, and a good tackle by number 92.
Yeah, you know what? And again, we're relying on that defense to do a great job. He did a good job of staying home and not taking off with the running back. Did a good job of reading where the ball was. Made a great play.
Here's Yanchuk out of the shotgun, rolling right, and he gets free. That play will be coming back. Pass complete to number 80, Sam Clayton, but there will be a hold. There's 2 flags in the Huskies backfield. But as we mentioned, Regina pulls off the upset tonight. The Wildcats have the Thunder, and I may not have this in the correct order, but they've got the Colts coming up next Saturday night down in Calgary. They've got a game against the Thunder. They've got another rematch against the Rifles. There's some winnable games here for the Wildcats.
The opportunities are going to be there, and you watch them execute in this second half, and again, Darcy knows they can execute. They just need to do it, and again, they let it get away in the first half early. If they could have kept that close and kept their mistakes or opportunities that they missed to a minimum, they would be a little bit closer, and that increases the pressure on the other sideline.
You bet, and here we go. And there's Yanchuk, and that pass falls incomplete. Pass intended for number 2, Connor Mickle. And good pressure on the quarterback by the Wildcats. So
once again, they were getting pressure in his face, forcing him to throw a little bit earlier than he liked to before he could see his receiver in the space he was going to. And so now the Wildcats once again probably getting the ball back midfield or better depending on this return. That's what you want to do. And again, if I'm on the far sideline, if I was coaching the Huskies, I'm not too happy right now with how we're playing. And I know it's still a little bit of it's going to be a big comeback if they come back, but you want to execute, and you want if you want to be the best team in the nation, you need to know when and how to put teams away and not give them opportunity. And again, not taking anything away from the Wildcats. They are fighting. They haven't given up. They're playing a great half of football against a very, very good Huskies team that is well established over the last few years.
Number 97, Wyatt Schutz, the Wildcats shaken up on the play, and as you mentioned, it's about just developing that consistency. And like we said, there are some winnable games. The needle is trending upward for these Cats, and Darcy Park had mentioned to us on the field that this is one of his strongest recruiting classes in a very long time. They've added in a lot of young players, and they've got some good leaders, Savchuk, Dalkey. They've got some really good players on offense, and things are building here. And as we mentioned, with 11-11 to go here in the fourth quarter, if you're going to measure yourself, you got to measure yourself against the Hilltops and against the Huskies. And, those are the top 2 teams that are going to be battling it out at the end of the year. And if the Wildcats can get some positive momentum against those teams, well, things are going to look even brighter. So that's number 97, Wyatt Schutz. Looks like he'll be back, no problem, just shaken up on the play. Cole Sabrin going to kick this ball away. He's standing at his own 5-yard line. Jake Withrow of the Wildcats back at his own 50, and Sabrin will retreat wisely into his end zone and give up the 2-point safety. So the score now, the Edmonton Huskies 34, the Edmonton Wildcats 12. So we had lunch the other day with our counterpart, John Belmont. He provides the analysis for Huskies games, and the old coaches, the young coaches, you guys have that knowledge, and Belmont said it would be about a 21-point difference, and here we are. He's at 22, so
Yeah,
I don't know if Belmont had any money on this one or what.
Well, there's still some football left to play. We'll
bet.
see if it holds strong, because I know these Cats are not done playing football tonight.
That's right, you bet. Wildcats want to cut that deficit. And here's Swedish now. He's going to call his own number. He's got room to run as he scrambles for a near first down. 9 yards, Justin Swedish now. And Justin Swedish, like Tommy Yanchuk, big quarterback, not afraid to step up into the pocket, not afraid to run.
Yeah, and great job getting through some defensive linemen, getting through some space in the pocket to put himself in a real manageable second down.
Here's 2nd and 1. Swedish now, number 9, going to move the pile forward, and that is a big Wildcats first down. With just over 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, Clarke Stadium here in Edmonton. Round 1 of the Battle of Edmonton, the Huskies and the Wildcats. Huskies lead by 22, 34-12. But the Wildcats showing some positive plays here in the fourth quarter, and just out of the hands of number 23, Kiefer Moak. And they've run that play very successfully to Moak across the middle, but he just couldn't corral that pass.
Yeah, and I think that's the first one he put on the turf tonight. He's been very reliable, and I know they're going to come back to that. I'm sure we'll see it before the night's out again. And now they've got a 2nd and 10 they need to convert again to keep this momentum going and to allow them to carry what they've started really in the third quarter now into the fourth. Let's see if they can execute here on 2nd and 10.
Keep the drives going, the positivity. Here's the Wildcats now, 3 receivers left side, down the middle, and a near catch by number 81. That's Lucas Howe laying out to make the near reception just out of his reach, right down the seam. Big hit by the defender. That's number 15, Brandon Mellon.
And that pass just getting away from Swedish. Again, if he brings that down, it's a perfect opportunity for a receiver to make a play. So unfortunately, it just sailed on him just a little bit too much.
Here's Camarada with the big kick. Going to be fielded down at the 29-yard line. That's number 86, Jake Strakowitz, and he's taken down right at about the 32-yard line, right by the Wildcat bench with 9:26 to go. There's the kick by Camarada. We'll take a look at the return here by Strakowitz of the Huskies. He breaks that tackle from number 12, Colton McNeil, and he's wrestled out of bounds by Lennox Murray, number 28, and the Huskies will take over 1st and 10 at their own 35. Just over 9 minutes to go. Rob Harrod, the former Eskimo, head coach of the Millwoods Christian School. You're getting ready for the upcoming season. Tommy Yanchuk's getting ready to deliver this football, and once again, a little bit of an overthrow by Yanchuk, Harrison Cable. And if you're the head coach, and typically the head coach is always buzzing around the quarterback, how do you work with the quarterback to keep that ball from sailing? Is it a mechanical thing? What's your approach here?
It's usually a mechanical thing, and it always starts with the footwork. And we had a chance at lunch again the other day talking about footwork and how important it is. And so, again, he's going to have to work on his footwork. He's going to have to break it down with his quarterback coach and say, okay, where is this sailing on me? Because, again, it seems like the throws, similar to that one, when he's throwing to the wide side of the field, which really distance-wise is about the same as some of those mid-range crossing routes.
Sure.
Right, again, he's making the throws sometimes, but other times across the middle of the field, he's not. So he's got to step into his throws. He's got to make sure he comes over the top and make sure he doesn't release it a little bit early, which sometimes is simply created by linebackers. And he's erring on the side of being high as opposed to someone getting their hands on the ball too. So sometimes it comes down to throwing lanes to make sure he knows where he's throwing and where those windows are.
Big kick by Cole Sapper, and with throw now, loses the football and has to fall on the loose football right at the 30-yard line. So yeah, as you mentioned, Yanchuk sailing the ball a little bit. Of course, he has that touchdown. Has it's got the touchdown pass right at the end of the half, and of course, Yanchuk has looked good. A little bit inconsistent at times. Both quarterbacks have had their ups and downs, but pretty strong play by these veterans under center. And here is Justin Swedish for the Wildcats. 4 receivers set to the wide side. Here's Swedish out of the shotgun. Standing at his own 25. Quick pitch, and oh, that's just good defense right there by the Huskies. Number 25, Ramon English, taken down on the play. That's number 90, Alex Veer, and great pursuit by the Husky.
Yeah, swarming defense. They knew they were coming. They saw it coming, and they reacted extremely well and executed. And so they got to change things up. And, you know, it's kind of the difference we've seen in the two offenses. You know, the Wildcats just not being able to find that rhythm earlier in the game. They're doing a much better job now. They need to keep that rhythm going, have opportunities to score points.
6-yard loss on the play, 2nd and 16. Fumbling the snap is Swedish. He'll roll out, and pass nearly completed to number 15, Alex Fox. Broken play there. That's number 26, Doug Braniwande, on the coverage. But there's Swedish trying to make something out of nothing, and at least he's able to get the fingers on the laces, get a throwaway. But a broken play there by the Wildcat quarterback.
Yeah, that's twice tonight we've actually seen a snap get away from him. In the first one in the first half of the game, the snap wasn't perfect, but it was a little bit off to the side. But what's happening usually is, again, the eyes are coming off the ball. He's looking at the linebackers. He's looking at what's going on downfield. And again, that's twice now. It's put him in real tough situations, not being able to corral that snap.
Camerata's kick travels to midfield. About a 7-yard return on the play by number 86, Jake Strakowitz. And the Huskies will begin this offensive series inside Wildcat territory at the 51-yard line. 7:08 to go here in this ICU video procast. Here in week 2 of the Prairie Football Conference season.
Not to be too hard on him either, because you know what? In the Eskimo game in Hamilton, Mike Riley was making the same mistake. So
that's right.
It's a mistake that it just takes time and focus to make sure you're looking at what you're supposed to be looking at, knowing what you're doing, and even the pros sometimes make that mistake.
Looks so easy from up here. There's a change at quarterback. That is number 13, Brendan Guy.
I definitely would not want to be the quarterback. See, when I was in high school, you always want to play quarterback, but
sure.
You don't really want to play quarterback when you're actually playing it. And, you know, my quarterback experience now is simply playing against the high school kids. That's about the only time, because then they can't hit me either. So
that's
it's
right.
okay. I don't have to worry about them coming after me.
Well, you got those brittle old bones, right? You know, you got to be careful here at a guy, you know, at your advanced age here. 2nd and 6. Pass ball is incomplete, of course. You know, Rob, here you have to stay injury free going into the season. You know, you got a big season coming up. Millwoods Christian School, of course, another couple of weeks, and you're right back at it in the classroom and out on the field. So obviously, we want to wish you all the luck in the world this year with football. And how are your preparations going so far?
Right now, my focus is on school administration, unfortunately, but I've had some time over the summer. We've got a great coaching staff and a good core of players coming back. Hopefully, we'll have a good deep run this year into the playoffs.
There's a line drive punt, one hopper taken by Withrow, number 8. It's Cole Sapper, about a 5-yard return on the play. But yeah, there's a lot of work, a lot of preparation goes into it. As you know, it's not as easy as just putting the players in the uniforms and sending them out there. It's an entire, you know, staff and coaches, volunteers. So it takes a whole community to get a football team together, and certainly want to wish you all the success in the world and all of the upcoming. Well, we've got minor football already underway, and the high school season is just a couple of weeks away as well. Here's Swedish now. Pass falls incomplete. He's looking for Jake Withrow across the middle. That pass just behind the intended receiver. 5:36 to go in the fourth quarter here at Clarke Stadium in Edmonton. And as we mentioned, that haze appears to be growing. No wind, no breeze at all tonight, but that haze just seems to be kind of moving in. It's almost like fog, almost like a fog-like condition. But it's the smoke and haze that we've been putting up with for about the last 2.5 weeks. Here's Swedish now out of the shotgun. Good pocket, good throw. That pass is complete out to number 88, Zack Burgess.
I can see Darcy just watching him think and watch and look and where's the spot. And as a coach, I'm thinking the exact same thing as why couldn't he have fallen another 1.5 yards further forward and make this call a real easy one. Say go for it. It's this time in the game. But at 3rd and 2.5 or 3rd and 3, just not the right decision. But again, so close, and I could just see Darcy just wanting so badly to go for it.
He just will. Yeah, you can tell you can tell he had to think that one over, and he calls a quick timeout. As Rosario Camarada was just about to kick that one away. And of course,
just one extra guy on the field for the Wildcats. Again, a little bit of a frustrating thing. Why do we have too many guys out there? But again, this is the time of year that you want to take care of those details. You want to fix those up. Win some football games, give your chance an opportunity to play in the playoffs.
Of course, for the Wildcats, their next action is this Saturday, or next Saturday, I guess the Labor Day long weekend. Of course, they'll be taking on the Calgary Colts at McMahon Stadium on Saturday night at 7 o'clock. Their next home action comes up on September 15th when they host that rematch with the Winnipeg Rifles, and I think that's going to be a good one. I mean, the Rifles lost this afternoon in Regina, so anything can happen in the Prairie Football Conference, and you know the Wildcats have a score to settle with Winnipeg after their opening week loss last week, 19-3 to the Rifles in Winnipeg. So some action coming up and some winnable games for the Wildcats. Here's the kick by the southpaw, Camarada. And that punt is fielded at the 50 by Strakowitz, and he gets about an 8-yard return, and Wildcats push the pile back, but they'll spot that ball right at the 51-yard line. 4:39 to go. So glad you're along with us, no matter where you're joining us from throughout the planet, here on the ICU video procast of Prairie Football Conference action. The Battle of Edmonton here with the new look Edmonton Wildcats in blue. The Huskies, of course, in visiting white, and we're so glad you're along with us. Huskies now 1st and 10 from the 51 here in the final moments of the fourth quarter. Here, this week 2 battle. And if you're a Wildcats fan, no matter what, you're down 22, but there are lots of positives coming out of this game. And there's Brant Burzik around the right side, or we think that, oh, pardon me, that was Taylor Rempel, number 21. And I think this is what you'll see out of you mentioned it earlier, this is what you're going to see out of the Huskies this year, is either Burzik through the beginning or Rempel, one or the other. They're interchangeable. They're going to start and finish games and there's a loose football on the play, but they're going to start and finish. They're going to be interchangeable parts here.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the last thing a defense wants to see is a fresh legs running back, and that's what the Huskies are really trying to establish against any team. In that last play, because it's a shovel pass, it's forward, although it looks like a great ball to pick up and take off to the running.
But it is, by definition, an incomplete pass, sure. But definitely, if they can keep those two backs healthy, the Huskies are going to go a long way in the PFC. And speaking of a long way, there's a big kick by Sapper and fielded by Withrow right at the 5-yard line. He'll pick up about 2 on the return, so a good angle kick by Sabourin, and the Wildcats will start 1st and 10 with 3:37 to go in the football game, down by 22. And the Huskies will go to 2-0 their next action, the Huskies, they'll have their first home game of the season. That comes up Sunday, September 2nd against the Regina Thunder. Kickoff 1 o'clock right here at Clarke Stadium. And if you can't make it to Clarke Stadium, make sure you join us here on the ICU Video Procast. And there's Justin Swedish under pressure and taken down behind the line of scrimmage. The sack by number 76, Colton Densmore. So the big defensive end for the Huskies collapsing the pocket, and a great play by the defensive end.
You know, we got two teams still playing right to the final whistle. Again, when you're playing your crosstown rival, you never want to stop. You never want to be taken off the field as a player. You want to be able to finish this game and finish it well.
4-yard loss on the play, 2nd and 14 on the sack. There's a good throw out to the left side, from the left side of the quarterback, Justin Swedish. That pass complete to number 4, Jacob Mihalidis. And not enough, obviously, for the first down. So that'll bring up about 3rd and 6 with 2:42 to go here in the football game. Swedish drops back, throws, and good swarm to the football by the Huskies. That's number 9, Jaden Lorimer. Also in on that tackle, number 43, Cole Lindbergh. So some of those depth players starting to see some action for the Huskies as well.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to get kids opportunities to learn and play and develop their skills. So when their number is called, they're ready to go.
Loose football on the return, recovered by Strakowitz of the Huskies. Good kick by Camerata, but the Huskies will begin 1st and 10 in Wildcat territory to the 46-yard line, where they'll begin 1st and 10. So Huskies now going to try and close this thing out. Final 2 minutes and 26 seconds in the football game. Great crowd here tonight. Great to see Edmonton's football community come out and support these teams on a pretty nice evening for football. Here's that jet sweep around the left side. That's number 7, Adner St. Hilaire, who is a brand new acquisition for the Huskies, the former Strathcona Lord, former Millwoods Grizzly. Had a chance. I've been watching Adner St. Hilaire play since he was about 7 years old, and I'll tell you, a great football player, a great athlete, was a fantastic football player with the Grizzlies at receiver and running back, and he did the same with the Scona Lords, and recently joined the Huskies from the U of A Golden Bears. Here's the handoff to the former Golden Bear. Here's Taylor Rempel, and as you said, there is no quit on that Wildcat defense tonight. That's number 11, Brady Kerr. So the Wildcats are playing right to the whistle, and Darcy Park's got to be proud of that.
He does, you know, and again, we talk about the difference between this team in the first half and the second half, and it'll be interesting to see the stats at the end of the game. There's no doubt that the Wildcats have been more productive, primarily through the air, but they've been getting it done, and I think that's an important thing. I mean, Swedish has used his legs when he needed to, escape pressure, and so much better second half. They just need to play the complete game.
Darcy Park's got to like the fight in his football team. There's Taylor Rempel, and a good open field tackle by Jaden Dalkey, number 21. Speaking of a guy who's not going to quit, you know, Jaden Dalkey will play right to the final whistle, no matter what the score is on the scoreboard. He's not going to give up, and no gain on that play.
Well, you're always playing for pride, and you never want to let anybody score on you, especially late in the game. Whether the game's out of hand or it's close, you're going to work your tail off to keep them out of the end zone.
And there's a loose football on the play. There's the quarterback squares loose. He makes something out of nothing, and the pass is complete. Number 14, Jordan Lane, in a quarterback now for the Huskies, completes that pass to Adner St. Hilaire, the rookie. So 2 rookies getting in on the action, and a broken play, but a nice little play by the quarterback, rolls right, And once again, Adner St. Hilaire, you know, I talked about his athletic ability, and he's got a ton of it. Great catch by the former Millwoods Grizzly. There's Taylor Rempel around the right side. And of course, like I say, Adner St. Hilaire, one of the talented young players for the Huskies, recently just joined the Huskies here just a couple of weeks ago from the Golden Bears. There's Rempel, or earlier this summer, we should say. There's Rempel fighting for extra yardage. Pickup of 4, 2nd and 6. Huskies spot the ball at the Wildcat 12-yard line. 45 seconds to go in the football game. Huskies on their way to a 2-0 record. Wildcats will fall to 0-2. Roll out by the quarterback, number 14. He's going to take the ball himself on the rollout. Tucks the ball under his arm. That's number 14, Jordan Lane, and the youngster making a name for himself out there.
He's going to roll out here. You can't quite see it in the corner of the end zone. There's a wide receiver standing there. Give me the ball. He's about 10 yards open, and he ends up tucking it down and getting to the end zone. And so he's looks like he's down to the 1-yard line looking to punch it in.
Connor Guy, number 85. Hey, I'm right here, but there we go. Back to the live action. Jordan Lane was going to take that one in himself, and ball carrier tries up and over, and it is a touchdown. Number 21, Taylor Rempel. He's going to put the cherry on the sundae here for the Edmonton Huskies, who will come away with a 2-0 record following this contest, and the Huskies expand their lead. Point after to come here by Cole Sabourin, as the Huskies appear to take a 41-12 lead here with just 14 seconds to go in the football game. Huskies close things out, and of course, next week they will host the Regina Thunder in their first home game, so make sure you make your way to Clarke Stadium for that one, or join us here, right here on the ICU Video Procast. But all in all, Rob, I mean, certainly a bit of a lopsided contest, but there has been a lot of positives for the Wildcats. And overall, one of the things that we talked about that's a real positive for football in Edmonton, a great crowd tonight.
It is, and it's good to see them coming out. Obviously, we have the weather, and what a great time of year to be a football fan. You know, the Eskimos are midstream going into, you know, a big 2 games against Calgary. You know, the NFL, if you're a fan of the NFL, is getting going here in a week, and there's lots of great things going on down there. We've got the junior football, high school football is up and rolling, and they're gonna be hitting the field in pads, if not already, soon for their first games. And you know, minor football is doing the same thing. It was great. A couple weeks ago, I was driving by the Chargers organization, and of course, they had all their kids out on the field, and so it's a really good time to be a football fan.
Absolutely, and in this community, of course, the Capital Region. No shortage of excitement. Get out and support minor football. Support these teams as well. There's the onside kick, returned by number 3, Tanner Holt. Good hands by Tanner Holt as he nearly gets around the right side. That'll bring up 10 seconds to go here. So the Edmonton Huskies on their way to a 41-12 win here at Clarke Stadium on a beautiful night. If we could just get rid of that haze and smoke, boy, we would be in real business. But it was a beautiful night here in downtown Edmonton for round 1 of the Battle of Edmonton in the Prairie Football Conference. There's the handoff straight up the middle. Ball carrier taken down right at midfield. In at quarterback now for the Wildcats is number 16, Cody Olson. Handoff straight up the middle to number 22, Dustin Poliuk. Dustin Poliuk, another one of those exciting young players. Dustin Poliuk, of course, a product of the AOB Crusaders and the program run by Darcy Oganowski, and bright future ahead for Mr. Poliuk of the former AOB Crusaders. So like we said, lots of positives on the field and lots of bright future for the Wildcats. Cody Olson, number 16, future quarterback. You've got Dustin Poliuk. So you know, even in a lopsided one like this, Darcy Park getting you know, lots of work for some of those depth players.
Yeah, and it's good to see those high school coaches out working hard. You know, I mean, these coaches here at the junior level really rely on some of those coaches in the high school, because the player development happens in high school, and that's what you want to see. It starts in the minor ranks, and the really strong Capital District minor football is doing a great job developing talent, and then we see the high school coaches take those young guys into their programs and develop them, and now this is the product we see. So many of these guys are from the local high school teams and have played many years in minor football, and again, it's really an entire organization from the youngest of ages to the even the pros. They're pouring into minor football in northern Alberta, and a shout out to all those coaches from outside and around the city. Really, that talent in northern Alberta pours into these two teams as well as the University of Alberta.
Hate to see that. Jaden Lorimer with only 5 seconds left being carried off the field. We certainly hope he's okay. You hate to see that in the final seconds. You hate to see a ball carrier carried off, and this will be the final play of the fourth quarter, barring penalties. Cody Olson, number 16, going to hand things off to Dustin Polyak, number 22. And that is the final play of the football game. Round one of the Battle of Edmonton here in the Prairie Football Conference goes to the Edmonton Huskies over the Edmonton Wildcats, 41-12 here at Clarke Stadium in Edmonton here in week 2 of our ICU video procast. And the teams will gather at midfield and go through the handshake. And Rob, just before we get to head coach Ian Mcclain and a chance to chat with him about his thoughts on the game, what are your thoughts on the game overall? It didn't disappoint. We had some great plays, but we had the Huskies looking like the contenders for the national title that they are going into this season. You know what? All of the hype, all of the talk about the Huskies is deserved.
Well, and there's no doubt the Huskies were the better team tonight. But, again, if I'm Ian Mcclain, I know we didn't execute nearly to the level we wanted to. And, you know, the first half, they left a lot of points on the board. The second half, they just couldn't get things going. And other than, you know, a few plays here and there where they did get their points, you know, the Wildcats, I mean, you could even say for 10, 15-minute stretch between the third and the fourth, the Wildcats kind of won the football game in that time. So,
you got that
you know,
right.
Darcy Park is going to use that as an example. Say, hey, we can hang in there with one of the best teams in the country. We just need to make sure we play 4 quarters and not wait till the second half to get things going. You know, I mean, this game's 7 points closer at the half, and all of a sudden, Huskies are saying, well, what's going on? Why are they even in this game with us? So, you know, there's lots to build on for the Wildcats. I think we've seen even more positives tonight in the second half. And definitely the Huskies have some work to do. You know, you got to be able to close out teams when it comes down to later games in the year. We're getting ready for the playoffs, and everybody's going to be better. Everybody's going to be more polished. They took advantage tonight of some mistakes made by the Wildcats. Teams aren't going to make those mistakes all the time.
Well, and as we mentioned, you know, both teams, high expectations for both teams this year. The Wildcats have some winnable games. The Huskies, of course, you know, looking at that national title and certainly look like one of the teams to beat. It's going to come down to between them and Saskatoon. But a really good, hard-fought football game between, you know, two organizations, two great rivals, and a real entertaining one. 41-12, once again, the final score. The Edmonton Huskies win this one. Kevin Donnan along with Rob Harrod, and we're waiting for head coach Ian Mcclain, the winning coach of the Edmonton Huskies. And as you mentioned, sometimes, you know, a head coach after a win is tougher on a team than a loss sometimes. And you know, you want to make sure that you stay hungry, you know, continue executing. And like you say, there are some things to work on, but right now, Ian Mcclain, as he mentioned in the Edmonton Sun the other day, taking it one game at a time. They're going to take a look at this one, and then the Huskies will move on and get ready for Regina next weekend, as will the Wildcats. Wildcats have a winnable football game coming up in Calgary.
They definitely do. And so, Ian, I'm sure we're going to hear from him. You know, he's going to have a lot of work to do. There's no doubt. And, you know, I think in our interview with him, I don't think you're going to get the feeling that he's all excited and happy because he's the winning coach. He's got a lot of work to do. And the Huskies got some work to do as well. Wildcats, obviously, you know, they're seeing the growth that they want to see.
Sure.
There's no doubt it's going to be some long film sessions. But you know what? As you progress through that film session over the next couple of days, they're going to be able to pull some really good positives as they moved into the second half, as they started to execute.
And they took and they took the Huskies' best shot. So we've got a special head coach Ian Mcclain has a special guest with him, which is fantastic. We love to see this. There is the coach. He's just getting his headset on, and there are we got the post game here, and let's see if we've got Ian Mcclain with us. Ian, have we got you?
You betcha.
Well, first of all, congratulations, Coach, on this victory tonight, 41-12 over the Wildcats. But as you and I talked earlier in the summer during that interprovincial challenge, sometimes a coach after a win, you're tougher on your team after a win than after a loss. What are your feelings right now, especially after that second half?
You know what? The penalties need to get brought into check. We gave them 12 points. The 12 points where we made it easier for them to get them. Penalties on special teams. We got guys. We just have to get our discipline way higher. That's the thing that I'm not happy about. And we got to execute. We got to make sure we're doing our jobs. We got guys that are biting when they shouldn't be, and we just need to make sure we're improving.
You know, looking at the stats from the first half, kind of all around, the scoreboard reflected how well you guys were playing in the first half. You almost tripled them up on all your stats, running and passing. In the second half, looking at the stats, they closed the gap substantially. What are you going to do in the film session over the next couple of days to make sure, you know, your team's ready to close out teams when they have the opportunity like they did tonight?
No, we got to correct. We got to do our job. We say it all the time, and I know it's a very easy adage that people like to say in football, but you got to play responsible football. You got to do your job. You got to protect the football, and we can't hurt ourselves. That's the thing that we need to keep improving on. It was great. We got all of our young guys in. We were able to rotate through in the second half a little bit, but we need to make sure that we're doing things. And we got to squib at the end of the game properly and not have an accidental onside kick.
Now you've got a game coming up against the Regina Thunder. They pulled off a big upset this afternoon, 29-21 over the Winnipeg Rifles. What concerns you about that Regina Thunder club?
Regina's got a lot of good athletes all over the place. We're returning most of their offensive and defensive line. And we need to make sure that we increase the physicality from what we saw today from our O&D lines. We need to make sure that we're getting guys in position to make plays, and we can't have it be that guys are out of position, because they got good running backs, good offensive line, and they got a quarterback who can chuck it up, and they're a good football team.
And one final question, Ian. You know, obviously you're going to take a look at this victory and get ready for Regina, but how great is it to have a really good crowd out tonight supporting both clubs in the Battle of Edmonton, two fierce rivals? How great is it for your players and for the entire community to see this kind of response here in week 2 between, you know, supporting these two clubs?
Oh, I mean, that's what we have to be. We say it all the time. We work together a ton. I mean, both Wildcats and Huskies offer free tickets or free passes to high school players wearing their jerseys. We try to promote that for the Wildcats this week to get as many guys here as possible. And the more that we can do together to encourage people to come out and see this great brand of football and go out and see people performing at a high level is important. This is a football town. We want to make sure we have as many people here as possible appreciating what we have in the city.
And we'll see you next weekend here on the Labor Day weekend on Sunday in the afternoon against the Regina Thunder. Kickoff at 1 o'clock. And congratulations, Ian. And absolutely, we'll see you very soon. We'll see you next weekend. And congratulations again on the big win tonight. So that was head coach Ian Mcclain. This is Rob Harrod. I'm Kevin Donnan, the ICU Video Procast. And let's take a walk through the stats, Rob. And as you mentioned, positives for the Wildcats in the second half, and they reflect on the stat sheet as well.
Yeah, just to give you an idea of what some of the stats look like. First downs total for the game for the Huskies was 24, for the Wildcats was 15. But in the second half, it was 9 apiece. So really the Wildcats were matching first downs and drives with the Huskies quite well. If you look at the rushing yards, and we're going to talk about second half here, it's 64 for the Huskies, and they did run the ball quite well, to 36 for the Wildcats. But when we look at the passing yards in the second half, the execution by the Wildcats was obviously much better, and 67 yards for the Huskies to 135 by the Wildcats. And again, I don't think the play calling changed. They did try to run. They just didn't have the success,
Sure.
But they definitely executed. And, you know, even in the first half, we saw probably 3, if not 4 passes dropped, and that would have totaled probably close to 100 yards in the first half. And so, you know, you think about the little plays that guys can make throughout the course of the game, and they just didn't make those plays when they were there to be made. And a couple other looking at total offense over the course of the game for the Huskies was 350 and 224. And as I mentioned when we were chatting with Ian, in the first half, the total offense for the Huskies was 3 times as much than the Wildcats.
Sure.
Looking at this, the total stats, obviously it's a little bit different. So again, lots for Darcy to build on for his young Wildcat team, who really is trying to challenge some of the best teams in the West here. And definitely work for Ian, as he mentioned. They got to do the little things right. They know how to do it. They've shown that over the years. They need to get back to that to execute a little bit better than they did tonight in the second half.
Well, and there's a great deal to take pride in if you're a Wildcats fan. I mean, certainly they fall to 0-2, but there is so much to build on here. And this team has some playmakers, and they've got a defense, and they've got some winnable games coming up. Next weekend, the Edmonton Wildcats travel down the QE2. They take on the Calgary Colts on Saturday night, 7 o'clock at McMahon Stadium. Then on Sunday, the Edmonton Huskies have their first home game of the year. They take on the Regina Thunder Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock, right here at Clarke Stadium. If you can't make it down to Clarke Stadium, well, tune in and sit back and join us on the ICU Video Procast. And that concludes week 2 of our ICU season opener here in 2018. Glad to have Rob Harrod along with us. And, of course, on behalf of executive producer Rob Zitlaw, we'd like to thank our entire broadcast crew, the hardest working crew in football. The ICU Video Procast crew, that includes technical director and camera Dave Foley, our director, Alex Testowich, our switcher, Kevin Kyle, the rookie, the brand new guy. He did a great job tonight. Mark St. Arnaud, another rookie up in the lift on the end cut, doing some great work. And, of course, fearless Matt Mosowich down on the main sideline. I miss you, buddy, but I'll see you again soon. And so you join us again. ICU Video Procast coverage of Prairie Football Conference football all season long right here. ICU Video Procast. For Rob Harrod, I'm Kevin Donnan from Clarke Stadium in Edmonton. Once again, your final score, the Edmonton Huskies 41, the Edmonton Wildcats 12, round 1 of the Battle of Edmonton from Clarke Stadium here in Edmonton. And on behalf of the entire cast and crew of the ICU Video Procast, good night from Clarke Stadium in Edmonton.